What is up, RotoGrinders? The NFL Pick Six Show is back for the playoffs. You guys didn't think we were done for the season, did you? Just so you know, programming notes, we're going to be back next week as well. Next week, the next round of playoffs. So this round of playoffs, next round of playoffs, then we're out of here. We're going to holler. Usual suspects, John Daigle, ETR, established the run. We have Rich Hribar from Chart Football Analysis. TJ Zoris he's producing behind the scenes. We'll bring in Rob Coakley later on in the show when we discuss this week's movie, but that's way after all the football. Life of Chuck, by the way. We're talking about Life of Chuck. All right, 6 games. It's the Pick Six Show. We're just going to break down every single game. DK and FanDuel, they want to rake us, so they want to give us all the different slates. So, it's tricky as far as figuring out ownership and that kind of conversation because FanDuel, their main slate is the 3-game Sunday slate. DK, they have a big Saturday only, a big Sunday only. They have contests for all 6, as does FanDuel, but those aren't the biggest of contests. So I don't know. We can dig in that if we want to, but I feel like we're just going to focus on the 6 main games. Daigle, we did it. We made it to the playoffs. How are things?
Just glad that I know what day and time it is as opposed to the last 2 weeks of life to where I couldn't tell you what games were that day. I just knew they all had to be done earlier in the week. Because of all that, I got started being a new person after the new year. Like a lot of people, I'm sure it took to like the 5th or 6th for me to get going. The 1st and 2nd, I was still the same old person from 2025, which is okay. I'm happy. But just glad we're here. It's the playoffs, lighter workload. We'll get into depth in every single player and game. And I guess, Dean, the best way to do it is after we talk about 2 games, for example, let's take a quick minute to discuss 2-game slate ideas, and then go on and we can discuss like all the games together as we move along.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is, by the way, January 7th, Wednesday night. According to Larry David, this is the last time you can say Happy New Year. That's it. After January 7th, no more Happy New Year. So let's get that out of the way. Rich, Happy New Year. Happy Wednesday. How are things?
I mean, my Happy New Year starts, what day is the Super Bowl? Like, that's like my New Year.
Feb 8th. Counting down the days.
February 9th. You can still say that to me. I'll accept it. But no, it's a different vibe here. I mean, I actually went because there's only 6 games and like they're such big games, everyone they're so isolated. I actually wrote up longer worksheets this week because I hate myself and I'm a maniac. But I found myself actually getting more detailed because of the matchup. So hopefully it translates to the show and we can have some success here on the way out. Although it's the league's fault that these sites did this because when they added that Monday night game, it just gave them that's what ruined it. Yeah. Is them adding the Monday night wild card game because if they would have 2-3 game slates if the games were Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky conversation, and we're probably all going to play all the slates. I imagine I'm going to play all the slates, and
I won't play the Monday slate because I don't like you guys do the showdown.
I'll play showdown. I might not play the 3-day slate. Just also being in the weeds for college football. And like, dude, how much you have to pay attention to just late swapping off the good plays to catch up. It's annoying. Like, I know it's the best way. It's optimal, but I hate doing it. Like even last week, going into the Saturday night game, having to get off McCaffrey and JSN. And if you did that correctly and you got onto Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet together, like that's how you won. But it's just annoying to objectively get off the good plays.
You got a take on the college football Final Four? UM? Is it going to be Indiana? The Ducks?
Man, Indiana is such a wagon. I like Ole Miss to cover tomorrow. I don't know if that means they win. I do like them a lot to cover the 3.5 though, just because I still think Oregon is frauds.
Listen, wrong show, but did someone say wagon? keep it next to me.
All right, let's do it. Let's dive in. The very first game, we're talking about the 4:30 game on Saturday. That's the Rams at the Panthers. 4 of the 6 games home dogs, by the way. This is one of them. Carolina Panthers are 10-point dogs here at home, 46.5 total. Rams got a big boy total, 28.5. We're anticipating Devontae Adams back. He's fully practicing. I did take a peek at Roth. He does have this game yellow-orange. There are 2 games that are currently yellow-orange. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth here at RotoGrinders. He has the Rams in Carolina yellow-orange. Let's see. Pretty good shot of rain here. Again, this is Wednesday night. Circle back. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts around 20. Yellow-orange in Chicago as well. Gusts averaging about 30 miles per hour. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Daigle, I'll let you open it up for us. The Rams at the Carolina Panthers, probably, arguably, I imagine, the worst team that's playing going forward and made the playoffs. Yes?
Yes, and zooming out quickly, no home team this week favored by more than 3.5 points. Only one total on the entire weekend went down at all, and it's actually a pretty shocking one, but I think we'll get to the reasons why as we move along slowly. But yeah, I have faith in the Rams offense entirely when I talk about this game. As you mentioned, the Panthers being one of the worst teams in history in terms of making the playoffs. Since DVOA was tracked by Aaron Schatz at FTN, formerly Football Outsiders, of course, since 1978, DVOA, of course, is basically EPA per play, a couple nuances here and there, but that's what it means in terms of efficiency. The Panthers actually grade as the 10th worst team ever to make the playoffs since 1978 in that particular metric. Remember, the last time these two teams played, and I remember vividly because I had 4 Rams with Stafford going on, that week, the Rams led the league with 6 red zone possessions and 7.4 yards per play against Carolina. But in that game, the Panthers defense recorded a pick 6, an interception inside the 10-yard line, and a sack fumble at their 22. And yet the Rams still scored 4 touchdowns. So when I look about what happens in the best case scenario, especially like on the 2-game slate when we're talking about, I have the utmost faith in the Rams at full strength with Devontae Adams, even practicing in full on Wednesday, completely dunking and nuking the Panthers altogether. I want to get away from their running backs, and I want to try to soak up all these passing touchdowns against Carolina. So currently in the 2-game slate, even on the whole weekend, I think there's one other offense I'm thinking about nuking, and we'll get there eventually. But it's easy to say, it's a 10.5 point spread. I love the Rams this week.
28.5 is their team total. That is the biggest total on the board. I think Buffalo is 27. I want to say that's the second highest as I'm scrolling on through. Rich, are you as confident on the Rams? Are we prioritizing Puka this week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as confident on the Rams. I mean, the Panthers already kind of ran the gambit of like how you pull off like a 10-point like upset, right? Like they used it up. Like can you replicate what they did? Like Daigle talked about the turnovers. They resulted in minus 16.1 EPA. That was the most significant turnover swing for the Panthers in a game this season, the worst for the Rams. They were 7 of 15 on third downs. They were 3 of 3 on fourth downs. They scored 3 offensive touchdowns from 30 yards out or further. 2 of those came on fourth downs. They also held the ball for 35 minutes in that game, the most significant time possession margin in a game this season. So like that's like how you pull off an upset. It's like, how can you do that twice? Like it's one of those things that just happened like once, and it's like hard to replicate. Unlike Daigle, I'm very in on the Rams running backs, especially if this game's going to be played, in the rain a little bit, because remember all those turnovers, they kept that game script in like a back and forth game script. And this backfield was still electric in that game. I mean, Kyron Williams hurt his ankle, had 13 touches for 72 yards. Corum rushed 7 times for 81 yards. Also, when you look at the style of runs that the Rams run, I mean, Kyron Williams is first in the NFL in rate of man gap runs. Corum is third, and Carolina has been absolutely horrendous against those runs, which played out in the first game. They're allowing 5.8 yards per carry on those runs. The running backs, which is 30th in the NFL. They have allowed a touchdown or a first down on 35% of those runs, and they've allowed 3 yards before contact on those runs. So I think this is a game where both these running backs, especially if like Roth has it projected, is gonna be played in a little bit like kind of weather we saw in Carolina last week, or was that game in Tampa? I can't remember. It was in Tampa, that one. So, but if they're playing in the rain again this week, I think it's going to be a lot of the run game here. Carolina is sneakily good against the pass this year, and even though Stafford was effective, I'm curious to see how Sean McVay kind of calibrates in this game, because Carolina's been really good against the meta offenses, like Sam Darnold, 5.5 yards surpassed him. Brock Purdy, 6 yards surpassed him, 3 interceptions. Jordan Love, no touchdowns and interception. Carolina has allowed the fewest yards per pass attempt on play action passes this year in the NFL, and it's like almost a yard difference from the team that's second. But they've been really bad against static dropbacks, and that happened in the first game. Stafford in the first game only averaged 5.2 yards per pass attempt on his play action passes. But on the non-play action passes, 13.3 yards per pass attempt. So I'm curious to see if McVay kind of breaks tendency and kind of adjusts from that, because what Carolina does really well is they play a lot of cover 3, but it's not a static cover 3. Like they do a lot post snap. And when you run a lot of play action, what do? The window changes. When you turn your back to the defense, and it changes before the time you get back around. That's why they're so good against these play action passes, why Stafford was bad in the play action pass game, even though he shredded everyone else in the play action pass game. I'm curious to see if they have more just traditional dropbacks in this game, don't have to lean on it as much, and see if that's one of the adjustments that they kind of make in this game.
I do find it funny that we continue mentioning rain, though, and we just saw last week the Panthers nukes won the Saturday slate, and then Sunday you had to have the Lions receivers.
Well, nukes is aggressive. That's an aggressive.
Well, it was 4 of them. Yeah, you had to have Tet, Coker, and Trimble in the 2-game slate. And then of course,
didn't both games combine for like 46 points?
Well, don't worry about that part. Yeah, you needed both Seahawks running backs too, and then of course you needed the Lions wide receivers as they're getting flooded in Chicago last week too.
Run backs on the Carolina side, Rich. Tet, obviously the most appealing receiver. It looks like Coker's well past Leggett. Any interest as far as the Panthers? Of course, in the 2-game slate, you kind of sort of have to get the sum. You don't have to, but your pool is smaller depending on what slate you're on. How do we feel about the Panthers?
Yeah, not the greatest right now, especially, when you look at Bryce Young, just his top down season, like just doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. He's thrown for 200 yards in just 4 games this season. They run an ultra conservative offense. They're 29th in the league in pass rate below expectations. When these teams played in week 13, because all those turnovers we talked about, they threw the ball 20% below expectations, the lowest rate for them this season. So it's like, it's really hard to feel good about them. I think from a volume perspective, we should get more volume in this game than we did the first game. So hopefully they would remember Tet McMillan's on the team. They kind of forget that some points this season. The only like last 6 weeks, the only games where he's actually had more than 4 catches in a game, or actually had more than 2 receptions in a game, is the 2 Buccaneers games. So you kind of got to force them to throw the football. Coker was well ahead of Leggett, but it's like, I'm not like really bullish on either of these guys just because of the offense in totality just not being one I really support here. And like they luck box into such a positive outcome last time that it just really feels like they can't replicate that.
It would depend on Ted Aroa's ownership for me and pivoting to Coker, just because, like you said, Coker now has out-targeted Tet in 3 of their 5 games around their bye to end the season. And so you're pretty much crossing your fingers, but that is in the range of outcomes where Coker is just better than Ted Aroa because they still don't use Ted Aroa correctly. So if Ted Aroa's ownership gets up there, I'd be willing to pivot to save more money on Coker.
Who's our favorite tight end in this game? Is it Treble or one of the Rams roulette? One of the guys on the Rams? Do you have a favorite tight end?
I think it's Higbee for me, but if I play Stafford, I'm open to playing Higbee and Parkinson just because we are unclear on this Terrence Ferguson hamstring injury. So we could get it dwindled down even further.
And if Ferguson doesn't play, are we dusting off Allen or no? We're not digging that deep, right? I don't think so.
2-game slate, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But I don't think I would play Allen unless you want to, again, if you want to play Stafford, if you come at it from the passing angle and you want to get off Trimble without Sanders, in that case, then you can go to Allen, just telling yourself a story that Allen can outscore Trimble since that's what you're playing for. But I like Tyler Higbee and his second real game back from injured reserve.
Rich, you got to lean on one of these tight ends, or it's just kind of like throwing darts amongst Tremble and one of these Rams?
Yeah, I'm curious too. Like if this team, if they don't play as much, necessarily heavier lean on the play action, if they even utilize like the 13 personnel to the degree that they have to. I mean, they actually ran their highest rate of 11 personnel the first time these teams played. It was right after the Higbee injury, so that could have played a role in that as well. If you're looking for like any kind of like potential signal, I mean, Parkinson still has the most end zone targets. So like he probably still has the most touchdown equity. If you're just chasing a touchdown, that would be like if you were playing Stafford stacks. I think if you play Parkinson, you want him on Stafford teams. Higbee could be more of a guy you play a la carte a little bit, like in other builds, because Carolina's allowed 12 yards per target to tight ends from the slot this season. And that Higbee and Ferguson are like the 2 tight ends that run more from the slot this year as opposed to in line. In those splits, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Rams play a lot more like old style McVay offense in this game, as opposed to like the big heavy stuff that we've seen them do against. But it's kind of been like driven by opponents too when they kind of break this out.
Old style meaning possibly a third receiver on the field.
Yeah, they ran their highest rate of 11 personnel the first time these teams played, like I said. So we could see more like Xavier Smith, who's traditionally played more in 11 personnel, especially with Devontae Adams, than Mumfield. Mumfield's played more in the 13 personnel stuff because he's a better blocker. So I don't think that's going to get you to anything outside of like a dart throw, though. Like we know where the ball's going still between the receivers.
It is good, though, because it seems like Whittington is trending towards potentially missing this game. So that is the case. We are at least like getting more of a solidified wide receiver 3 if you want to throw a dart in the lottery.
And remember the first time these teams played too, J.C. Horn didn't play and Trayvon Mulrig didn't play in this game either. So just things to note that changed too for Carolina in this matchup.
Surprising how good Higbee was his first game back. He was gone for 2 months or so, and he was pretty awesome against Arizona week 18. 5 catches for 91 yards. Do we assume he's the lead tight end going forward, or it's just sort of kind of a crapshoot? Is that
no? None of those guys when they were all available, no one was playing the most snaps.
Yeah,
it's also the Cardinals are. They heal all wounds. Everyone looks good against Arizona.
Higbee also was actually was technically off the IR for his practice window for a couple weeks already though. Before that, he didn't just get activated. He was warming up.
As I want Ferguson to be active because I know people will still chase it. Not to say he won't get there, he could, but it does seem like the hamstring injury is quite serious and could limit him. So if that's the case, so we can get Higbee and or Parkinson at lower ownership, I would definitely want that.
Same thing with Adams. Adams supposedly has been they've just preserved him.
He's fine.
He actually had the quote that said he was pissed he wasn't playing last week.
Love that.
This is how we steal those touchdowns from Kyron. Is our 1 yard king is back.
Well, yep. The end zone still 28 end zone targets led the NFL. He even spotted the whole league a month.
Going through all that stuff, I think the wildest one I saw is that Garrett Wilson, who hasn't caught, he doesn't have a reception since week 6. He led the Jets in receiving yards. That's the wildest one.
Did the Jets ever get that interception, or that never happened?
Nope, they didn't get it.
Amazing. How is that possible? Accidentally, you'd think you could catch the ball. 17 games, 0 interceptions.
You think of the amount of variance that's going to not a tipped pass, an overthrow, a Hail Mary. It's got to be a special kind of disaster to have this occur. We'll never see it again.
What was the second worst team as far as the worst?
I think it was 3. Okay. I think it was 3.
I couldn't believe that stat when I saw it was 0 at week 15 or so. I'm like,
and that they hired a defensive coach. That was the whole intention was to shore up the defense. It was one of the very worst in the league.
Do we Dowdle versus Hubbard? Do we have a lead here, Daigle? Obviously, this is tournament stuff, I would imagine. You don't feel confident about either. The split is kind of tricky. Any sort of lean there as far as the Carolina backfield?
I still think it's a hot hand situation every single week. That's very hard to predict. At least when we get to the Steelers over the last month, that they have kind of settled into their roles, which is good for both. But with the Panthers, it's genuinely who looks better, with Hubbard still playing a little more on passing downs.
Rich, anything else here as far as Rams and Panthers?
No, not really.
All right. You got anything, Daigle?
Nope. I think that's it for this one.
Who do we have any who covers the spread here? The Rams handle them pretty easily. 10 points. We got to pick a side, Daigle. What side are we on?
I still like the Rams.
Yeah.
To cover.
I think I do too.
No money line bets on this show. Unless we get to pick them, and you can do that.
Who was the worst team DVOA, by the way, that made it in that top? You said the 10 worst teams. Did you have that? If you don't have it, no worries. But
I'm sure I can find it.
Dean, I do have the note though. If you are a Panthers fan, there are a couple things that say maybe you latch on to. I just I said I think they burn how to get a 10-point upset. They ran the playbook already. Having all those things fall right in a perfect row again, I think it'd be tough. But they, in terms of point differential, there's been 3 worse teams to ever make the playoffs than Carolina. And if you're looking for all 3 of the other teams won in the wild card round. The most famous one being the Beastquake Seahawks.
Yeah, Seattle.
And then the Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas Broncos in the overtime play against the Steelers. And the 2004 Rams, which I believe both the teams were under 500, right? Wasn't there a division tie that year? Them in Seattle?
Okay, so actually what you just mentioned, Reeves, the worst team in DVOA ever was the 2004, the Mark Bulger Rams that went 8-8 with Mike Martz. And then the Beastquake Seahawks that went 7-9. But we'll always remember them.
All right. I think we lost you there for a second, Daigle, or maybe that was my internet connection, but I think we're good to go. We're going to move on and talk about the Packers and the Bears. Second game on Saturday, 45.5 is the total. The Bears, 1.5 point dogs here at home to Green Bay. So you can get quotes by him. You guys probably saw his quote. Josh Jacobs said, this is the best I felt in 6 weeks.
Which is funny because that's the opposite of what Rome Odunze said.
What did Rome say? He's expected back to, most likely. What did Rome say?
He basically said that if it wasn't a playoff game, he wouldn't be playing. Like he's forcing himself out there.
Interesting. I didn't see that quote, but okay, good to know. And like Odunze coming back, does that kind of muck stuff up as far as, the options with Moore? We've seen the rise of Burden. Zacchaeus, is he still lurking? Is he gonna are they all of a sudden gonna say, well, wait a second, why are we running this guy out there?
He was never lurking.
Rich, take this for us. Bears at home versus Green Bay.
Yeah, it's funny. This is basically the NFL's most storied rivalry. They've played the most games, 210 times in regular season. It's only the third time they've played in the playoffs. Obviously, they play in the same division, so the odds that both teams were good the same year haven't overlapped a lot. But it's still pretty remarkable that this will be only the third time they played in the postseason. Packers are pretty handily were ahead in both of these games. In both games, they opened up both matchups with the upper hand. They were up 14-3 in the first half of the first game. The second game, they were up basically 10 points with 2 minutes left, and then the Bears pulled out just like that wild finish. Got the onside kick from Romeo Doubs, got the strip sack in overtime. Caleb throws that dart to DJ Moore, and that was in a game where Jordan Love left. Zach Tom didn't play, and Josh Jacobs assumingly was benched or hurt in that game. LaFleur kind of danced around the idea. He was like, "Well, I didn't know Josh Jacobs was hurt." Like, okay, sure. The Bears they've been playing with house money all year, and it feels like the last 2 weeks it kind of dried up on them a little bit. Broncos have done this too a little bit, but you can only win so many games in the final 2 minutes, and they didn't pull out the 49ers game. They didn't pull out the Lions game last week. So the Packers, I think when you just look at this from a top-down stance, they're one of my favorite picks of the week. So it says, go ahead and clip that list. Says local man ready to get dragged here.
I got a worse one when we get there. Don't worry.
Better quarterback. They've got the experience. The other thing too, when we talk about these matchups, historically, first-time quarterbacks facing non-first-time quarterbacks in the playoffs have been terrible bets, and they've just been terrible. They've had terrible runouts. So, I look at this Packers team being seasoned. They're very seasoned at being the number 7 seed as well. Third time that they've been that. But they were ahead in both these games. They controlled both these games pretty thoroughly. The Bears are going to have a lot quicker start. I just don't think the Bears match up well with what the Packers do structurally. Even with Micah Parsons being out, they still pressured Caleb Williams at a high rate in that second matchup. They play a ton of zone coverage, with Caleb's just been really struggled with the entire season. So I do like the Packers here. I just don't know how many fantasy points we're going to get out of the Packers.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. Is I don't really know anybody who kind of jumps out. The pass catchers are always kind of tricky to pair with Love. I would guess the best one would be Watson. I think, is that pretty fair to say, Rich? Yeah, Watson is the first one you want. And then Reed, and then I guess Dobbs. Wicks is officially questionable. Is that's kind of where we have it right now? I don't know how much that matters. Do we care? Do we believe? Do we expect Wicks to play here, Rich?
I would still believe that he would be kind of well behind Dobbs and Jaden Reed still in kind of the pecking order. Obviously he's going to do his rotational stuff, but Watson to be kind of still the first top-down guy we would want. You look at Watson since he's come back in week 8. He's had 35% of the Green Bay air yards. It's wide receiver 13. He's wide receiver 9 in yards per out run. He had a really excellent game the first time. He still comes to some volatility. He's kind of like Green Bay Alec Pierce in a way, the way he earns his targets. But if the Bears still want to run a lot of man coverage and get aggressive, that's where they got cookie jarred by him in the first game that Jordan Love played as well. I think Jordan Love coming back for this is really amazing. People did the same thing with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, but this whole thing, where is this contingency that really believes Malik Willis is better a quarterback than Jordan Love? Where are these people, man?
I am happy Malik Willis is going to get paid this offseason as a free agent backup. I do worry though about him being able to run an NFL offense away from Matt LaFleur, because they've really changed their identity entirely every time he's come in the past couple of years for Love. And I question whether another coach would do that for Willis, but LaFleur is catered to Willis and he's been awesome. I just don't think he can see anywhere else.
Zach Tom is the big piece here, though, that's playing. Zach Tom is the biggest piece that the Packers are getting. Well, besides Jordan Love, but That like Zach Tom being active in this game is huge. Love has been like one of the most sensitive quarterbacks in the NFL to pressure this year. He literally leads the NFL in completion rate when he's not pressured. And then, is second to last when he is pressured. And with Tom on the field, he's been just completely night and day different. His interception rate drops almost in half. His sack rate drops in half. So, I mean, him being on the field is absolutely huge.
Daigle, your thoughts as far as Green Bay? Feel free to jump over to the Bears.
For the Packers, for the wide receivers, it is Watson as well for me. Him, Love, and Jaden Reed have only shared the field for 32 plays all year because they've all been so injured throughout the season. But on those 32 plays, Watson still leads the team with 31% target share. The Bears are allowing the fourth most points from the slot. That's where Reed runs his routes in between them, especially with more 11 personnel given the absence of Tucker Kraft. So, yeah, I like Watson and Reed. I prefer Stafford to Love, but I can definitely see coming in on Love in the 2-game slate in particular. But for me, it does all begin and end with Josh Jacobs. Rich touched on it a bit, but remember, Jacobs missed week 12. He came back for 3 full games, out-touched Emmanuel Wilson 54-9 between weeks 13 through 15, then had that short turnaround against the Bears in which he split touches 6 days later with Emmanuel Wilson, and then really tried to play through the injury the entire time, ultimately was rested in the finale. So now we basically have 21 days in between the last time we saw Josh Jacobs full strength. And we're talking about a Bears defense that's just allowed, 4.8 yards per carry to Lions running backs. Christian McCaffrey hit a season high rushing yards against them. I think Josh Jacobs is the best running back on the entire slate, all 3 days included. So I'm going to be heavy Josh Jacobs this week for sure, which pains my heart because I have different rooting interest. But like we'll talk about with other teams as we move along here, the Bears just got a really tough first round draw, and it goes for the opposite of their future.
Bold proclamation there on Jacobs. We have seen it though, in games that matter. They just give him the ball 30 times.
I mean, it's a 28 touch, 100-yard, 3 touchdown day. Yeah.
They'll ramp up the touches and all that and basically give him everything. How about Chicago, Daigle?
Yeah, it's kind of like Reeves said. It's just a really tough run out here. And honestly, with Rome Odunze coming back, the quote, by the way, was he was asked about his conditioning, and he said that, quote, not at my physical peak. So I don't know exactly how they're going to utilize him here. And then we have to start debating because remember, Luther Burden wasn't a full-time player. He was still playing behind Olamide Zaccheaus in that time. So then you have to sift through who they use the most. To me, it all kind of goes back to Colston Loveland. That's what's eliminated Olamide Zaccheaus, is that really the Bears, even last week against the Lions, basically used Loveland and Kmet on every single snap instead, playing more tight ends. So if Odunze is limited at all, I would imagine they just keep going that route to keep limited receivers on the field. Thus, I want to go right back to Loveland now, who continues trending in terms of route participation at the very least, and then also combining it with the production. But I like Loveland a lot here.
Who is your favorite pass catcher for the Bears, Rich? You got to pick one of them.
Oh man, that's rough. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a thing where they cannibalize each other. So you have to guess who's gonna catch the touchdown, right? Packers have been incredible against tight ends this year too. Yeah, I mean they're second in fantasy points allowed per target. Loveland did basically nothing in either game. He had 30 yards and 29 yards in both games against them. It's real rough, man. I hate this run out for them. They played real conservative in both games too. They really used the backfield a lot. I don't know if I don't think I have I don't have any. I'm not bullish on any of them.
We know, at least we know without Odunze that Burden heavily out targets DJ Moore consistently, and he's super efficient. Looks great when he gets the ball too. He just doesn't get the ball enough. They still have to spread the ball around because that is their offense.
Are we taking Rome at his word? We're going to dock Rome, right? We're assuming he's not 100%.
Yeah, he's playing with a stress fracture in his foot.
We're just not playing him?
I think he's a touchdown or bust guy. I mean, if you play him in the 2-game slate, he has to be. He can't be. I think he has to be played at Caleb, just not a la carte.
I think I prefer to play him just in 2-game. I don't think I'll touch him playing all of the games.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. I think you have to hope for that short. You have to hope for Saturday to have maybe 3 to 4 total receiving touchdowns, and he has one of them. Like that's how you would basically get the run out for him. But I think even the Bears, even if you get a touchdown from any of these guys outside of the 2-game slate, I don't know if it's that impactful. I don't know if any of these guys have like a true ceiling game.
Yeah. Loveland and Burden both projected ahead of Adunze currently on our projections, but Rome is ahead of Moore for whatever that is worth. But like you said, they're all going to kind of cannibalize each other. And
Loveland feels like the dude you fade on the 2-game slate and hope to get the run out because he's going to probably be like immensely popular.
Yeah.
Well, because it's him, Luke Musgrave, Tommy Tremble, or one of the Rams guys. And you got to play one of them.
Yeah.
And Loveland's been, he's good momentum of late too, So, I mean, I don't have ownership stuff in front of me, and there's no point in even running it. But the 2-gamer, like you guys said, he's going to be super popular.
He's just the most comfortable click at tight end.
Yes. Yeah, easy. It doesn't sound like you're very much into the Bears at all, Rich. Is that, amongst all the teams playing?
No, I mean, this game also largely screams under too. So it's like, I mean, it feels like a fist fight a little bit.
Oh, buddy, there's going to be fist fights in the Midwest. It doesn't just feel like it. It's $900 to get in the door into nosebleeds. I mean, dude, it's Bears Packers in the playoffs, like on a Saturday night. Like the NFL knew what they were doing. They're like, yeah, like we were ready for DUIs Saturday night.
You got buddies going?
All the cops going? I got buddies who had season tickets, and then you get first come to the wild card offerings, and then they just flipped it because of why wouldn't you? It's like literally 600% markup.
Yeah, that's. I didn't realize that cheap. I mean,
we're going to a bar watching party. It's gonna be fun.
That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I like Rich. I fear what's going to happen. I'm a realist fan.
I mean, you gotta hope the Bears magic.
It's a tough run out.
I will say I do expect it. I don't think the Bears are gonna get blown out. I think this game's gonna be low scoring and tight. So you just have to hope. The Bears have won a lot of the games like that this year. It wasn't until recently that they ran out of magic.
And on the 2-gamer, yeah, I like Stafford. I know Rich talked about he wants to attack it to the running backs. I like Stafford, then I like Love. Those are my 2 favorite quarterbacks.
Yeah. I think if you play a Love team, you play Love with the Rams running backs, and if it's the invert. That's the way you build those teams.
You're playing through Stafford or Kyron, basically.
Or I think you can play Quorum still though.
You can play Kyron and Quorum. Yeah,
I think
you can pair them together. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. They both scored a touchdown last time. These two teams.
Yeah, now, I mean, you look at the
left the game early, but yeah.
Look at the running back layout for the slate. We have one workhorse, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
And then the rest are compartmentalized backfields or combination backfields. So you can absolutely still play both guys like you could have played Walker and Charbonnet last Saturday.
You have a current lean, Rich, as far as Swift or Monangai?
Oh, still Swift for the favorite. I mean, he's averaged 22 points per game in his weeks with touchdowns. So he's just had a larger ceiling than Monangai. Monangai in his games played at Swift, 12.3 points per game in his weeks with a touchdown. He's just had a larger ceiling. So I think if you're chasing in a tournament structure, it would still be Swift.
Anything else there, boys, or shall we move along?
That's the 2-game. When we're talking about these 2 games for the whole weekend, I am most interested in carrying over Josh Jacobs and mixing in Rams players.
I like the Jacobs call. I think that's a pretty good call for the slate for the entire 6-gamer as well. Rich, do you have a favorite play amongst these 2 games? Just one person?
I know I like the Daigle card because I talked about the Rams running backs. I really like the Love, Reed, Watson, Rams running backs. Maybe we add Coker to that, and we're looking good. That's a good little setup.
And remember, as we've seen in the past, we've now had 3 weeks in a row to do this. 2-game slate salary doesn't matter. Just get comfortable looking at 3,600 left on the table. All that matters is that block in between this first and second game and late swapping accordingly to give yourself an out.
Yeah, me trying to explain to Braden last week that he didn't have to use his whole salary on either slate.
Well, he normally likes to play the 3K nonsense guys. That's the perfect slate for him. He wasn't playing the.
I had again 4 Panthers look great, but I also had Dowdle instead of Bucky, and then I also had Mike Evans who had 8 points. It's okay, I can't win unless I swap here, so I need to get off JSN and McCaffrey. So you just have to be aware of what you have to do to get to the top.
Bills, Jags, 52.5, the first game here of the Sunday slate. Buffalo 1.5-point favorites in Jacksonville. Shout out to Jacksonville for hosting a playoff game this season. New coach, new Jags, Duval.
The first Josh Allen playoff game that's not played in Buffalo or Kansas City.
Wow, really? I have not heard that stat. That's pretty amazing. They're 1.5-point favorites on the road here in Jacksonville. I'll let you open this up here, Daigle. Pick the side of your choosing. Buffalo, Jacksonville, the biggest total on the board, I believe, amongst all the games, 52.5. Yes, by a fair bit.
Biggest total by a fair bit. Not the biggest team total. That's the Rams, but the biggest total, yes. And I think when you look at this game, it's interesting just because the overall best player, Josh Allen, obviously on the Bills side, but coaching, roster, defensive talent, I think that's all leaning towards the Jaguars, the home team. Also a good chess match here for Trevor Lawrence. Bills, of course, allowing the second fewest passing points in the entire league. Joe Burrow in a blizzard, Dean, we remember vividly. He was the only quarterback to score 3 touchdowns on the Bills all year long. They just don't do it. But Buffalo has leaked 40 rushing yards to 5 separate quarterbacks, including Drake May whenever they stuffed him through the air a few weeks ago. He still got 40 yards and 2 touchdowns against them on the ground. So that's Lawrence's out. That's definitely how Lawrence can succeed here. We've also seen a similarly tough matchup against the Broncos in Denver, where the Jaguars just went down the field and scored on every red zone position. So Liam Cohen has shown us he deserves to be in this position with Lawrence and ETN. And that's kind of how I look at this game, is that even in being the cash play last week, Trevor Lawrence, it was hard to play him in tournaments. Everyone was confused because you just don't know exactly where he's going to go. The answer was everywhere last week, actually. But it's really hard to pair him up here. And we're talking about a 3-game slate. And so I kind of look at this one and having confidence in the Jags offense and having confidence in Lawrence and ETN on the ground to get me there. And so I love ETN, but I like Lawrence too. And then since Reeves threw out an early, shot into the air about the Packers winning outright, the dark horse shot, the worst one that I'll give, is that I do think the Jaguars win, and I think McDermott is fired in the next 48 hours starting Monday.
Oh, wow. That's a bold proclamation on the back end. Where does he go? Is there already a destination for him?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. We got to get Harbaugh off the market first. That's the best coach out there. And by the way, I think it was right for the Ravens to have like a mutual parting, because it's like Tomlin. It's time for a fresh start somewhere else.
I don't understand the Tomlin one. I don't want to derail the show, but dude is like nothing and he still gives you 10 wins. I don't know how it's impressive, but maybe he's just been there forever and he wants to change. Sure. But I don't know why they would want to get rid of him. He gets more out of his guys than anybody. But am I not right in assessing? Would you think that roster gets you 10 wins? Was it 10 wins this year? No, but also the roster could be better if you are not as good and you allow yourself to rebuild once. That's correct. And Tomlin does not have a rebuild in him. He doesn't have losing in him. He doesn't have a rebuild in him either, though. A 2-15 season is good sometimes. I mean, they also call that Jeff Fisher, and no one's bragging about Jeff Fisher. Yes, the old Jeff Fisher. Who's the guy with the mustache? The Wannstedt. Wannstedt would always give you 8 or 9 wins as well. But never 10, never very rarely 10 or 11, but just enough to be on the cusp. Wannstedt, who is now on Chicago Sports TV, by the way. Is he still rocking the stash? He still has the stash. I don't think he has any other identity. So what's interesting about this game, Lawrence, and you kind of alluded to it, Daigle, and I'm curious to get your thoughts here, Rich. We have Josh Allen, who has nobody you feel comfortable pairing him with, and you have Trevor Lawrence, who have too many guys you don't know who to pick, right? Buffalo, who their receivers, I have no idea. And Jacksonville, it could be Myers, it could be Thomas, it could be Washington, it could be Strange, maybe 2 of those guys. Do you have a preference, Rich, as far as one of these pass catchers for Jacksonville? Is there a strong lean, or it's just, just guessing?
I think there's a couple, some small signals here. Obviously, Jacoby Myers, Sean McDermott already talked about, Maxwell Harrison, who's unlikely to play, was going to be, his responsibility was going to be Jacoby Myers. So it opens up a little bit for him. He hasn't had the highest ceiling. Parker Washington just keeps producing, man.
Dude,
Why not just keep playing, man? We have a very small sample of all these guys playing together. We have 106 routes. All 3 of these guys have run on the field together. But Washington has 31% of the team targets and over 3 yards per out run. So like he just keeps producing. You also get the small slate punt return equity of him if you want to do the double bubble.
It's worked twice this year. You don't play showdowns, so you don't know, Rich, but it has worked twice this year.
No, and he moves around inside outside too. So I mean, he's just a versatile player. I think that's like I'm not going to fight Parker Washington. Like he's just been really productive. Trevor Lawrence has been in fuego. Like I'm just gonna like why keep pushing back on it. So
I think it also helps that I personally, like Rich talked about, not being as high as Loveland as me, and I'm talking about Loveland for 3-day slates, not 2-game, given the ownership. Yeah. But I'm eliminating Britton Strange here because like it's similar conversation in that the Bills are the best team in the league against tight ends, allowing the fewest yards, 30 yards per game, to opposing tight ends. So Strange can certainly score a touchdown, but I do think that already personally, like on paper, eliminates one option with Lawrence. And so you can instead go ETN and 1 or 2 receivers.
How about the Bills, Rich? We like Josh Allen. I guess he's as healthy as he's going to be. Maybe not 100%. I don't know if that hinders his mobility or not. He did have a week off, so maybe that helped him. I mean, took a snap, right? Well, I'm assuming that didn't take much of an effort for him. Continued his games played streak. But how do we feel about Josh Allen spending up for Allen? And do we trust any of his pass catchers? Is there anybody you can get behind? They're cheap. Some are cheap.
I love the dynamics of this game a lot. There's a couple matchups this week, like a lot of strength on strength matchups that I'm really compelled by. This one being the Buffalo Bills, obviously one of the most run-heavy offenses running into this pass funnel defense. The Bills are 28th in pass rate. I guess would be under expectations or compared to expectations, 3% below. And then teams against the Jaguars have the second highest pass rate over expectations. The Bills are going to try to run against everyone. That's what they do. But like anytime we've gotten a spot as fantasy gamers where Buffalo has been pushed to throw and be more aggressive, like we've perked up like instantly, right? Like these big games are typically when Buffalo puts a lot on Josh Allen's plates. He's averaged 26.5 fantasy points per game in 13 career playoff games. He's been held below 20 fantasy points in just 3 of those, 1 game below 17 fantasy points. He averages over 50 rushing yards per game in these games. We'll see if like how the foot is here. But a lot of like when you look at Buffalo, a lot of people will point to it's like, well, the reason they run the ball is because the offensive line's great. Josh Allen, James Cook, strength of the team. But anytime and the pass catchers suck. But it's like anytime they've still been pressed to throw the football, they've been hyper efficient at it. Even 2 weeks ago when they fell behind against the Eagles, they were able to throw the ball in the second half of that game. So like Josh Allen is the dude. Like he makes all these guys better. So I am like absolutely ecstatic to have a potential game environment where Josh Allen might have to have 30 plus dropbacks in this game. So, I mean, and when you look at since the week 8 bye, the Jaguars have faced Geno Smith, Davis Mills, Justin Herbert, Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, Riley Leonard, Brady Cook, Bo Nix, Phillip Rivers, and Brandon Allen as the primary passers. It's not exactly the most daunting rogues gallery. Granted, they smothered Justin Herbert, didn't let him off the mat in that game, but before the bye, they allowed 18 points to Brock Purdy, 27 points to Patrick Mahomes, 20 fantasy points to Sam Darnold, 27 points to Matthew Stafford. This is a team that doesn't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They're middle of the pack, 19th. They're 30th in sack rate. They're also 21st in rushing points allowed to quarterbacks. Like this is set up for Josh Allen to potentially put 30 to 40 fantasy points up. Like I wouldn't even be surprised. Like he just went absolutely nuts in this game in terms of like fantasy equity. Because I believe the Jaguars are going to keep scoring. We put on the table a few weeks ago when we did Broncos Jaguars, and we said this is the test. If the Jaguars get over here, like why wouldn't we believe? Then they went into Mile and scored 34 points. Like they absolutely dissected them. I definitely believe that they can move the football at home in this game. So. Man, and when we talk about pairing him, I really love the tight ends in this game. It reminds me a lot of the Cincinnati game. So when the Bills played Cincinnati, we saw their tight ends have 11 combined for 11 catches, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I think that's a similar layout we could see here. We know Kincaid's not 100%, and him and Dawson Knox have really been kind of splitting tight end work. But since week 14, Dawson Knox has really ramped up. He's been targeted on 27% of his routes, 2.7 yards per out run. Kincaid's still been efficient over that span at 2.4 yards per out run. And Jacksonville is 29th in catches allowed to tight ends per game. And they're 18th in touchdown rate. I really like both tight ends with Josh Allen in this game as well.
That is my angle exactly. Anthony Campanelli, defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, also runs a balanced defense. That way you never know what's coming. But the base is zone coverage, always keeping like 3 usually plus safeties back to limit big plays. It hasn't really helped outside of good quarterbacks. But in doing that, they've run zone coverage at a top 5 rate in the league, and Dalton Kincaid, and not just tight ends. If you compare Dalton Kincaid against zone coverage to wide receivers in the league, only Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith-Njigba have more yards per route run against zone coverage, and Kincaid is 11th in his rate of targets against zone coverage as well. So I also love the tight ends paired with Josh Allen here.
Is there any receiver we would consider playing Daigle on Buffalo?
Not for me personally, just because they still mix and match. Josh Palmer, DNP, and honestly, even when we were getting Gabe Davis leading him in the routes run, it was still roughly 60% rate. It wasn't what you would usually expect. The Jaguars are allowing the most points to receivers who are lined out wide, but again, the Bills don't have an NFL receiver who lines out wide, so I don't think I'm going to go there. I can punt with other games.
Rich, it sounded like the same. You kind of agree. You don't like any of these actual wide receivers for Buffalo?
Yeah, I would rather just punt with Dawson Knox or somebody.
But and not that I'm playing like all the expensive players through the rest of this 3-day slate, but in having Josh Allen and flexing a tight end, and that means playing both Kincaid and Knox, that does give you the salary to pay up for the others, like A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. The list goes on for the rest of the slate.
Running backs in this game, Rich? How do we feel about Cook and ETN?
Yeah, and the other interesting dynamic about this game is the Jaguars have been a complete inverse of their defense, are the same as their defense. Like they've just been hyper aggressive throwing the ball and really efficient throwing the ball, that is, and they've been a terrible rushing team. And they're facing this Bills team who have kind of coaxed teams into running the football on them. I mean, ETN hasn't rushed for 100 yards in a game since week 4, since their week 8 bye. He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. He's 30th out of 32 running backs with 100+ runs in success rate. He's been stuffed on 26% of his runs. It's the highest rate in the league over that span. Because you typically would want to play guys against the Bills. So I'm curious to see the dynamics of this matchup are really intriguing on paper. The other thing is the Bills haven't been as bad against the run as their season-long metrics show. Over the past 7 games, they are 16th in yards per carry allowed to running backs. Now, mind you, they were 30th before. So just getting from bottom of the league to middle of the pack is significant. They're 12th in success rate over that span. They've allowed a rate of a run 10 or more yards and 9.2% attempts at 16th. Travion Henderson's the only running back in the past 7 games to go over 74 yards against them. And obviously he had 2 touchdown runs of 50+ yards in that game. Chase Brown, 1.9 yards per carry. Jalen Warren, 3.5 yards per carry. Saquon Barkley, 3.6 yards per carry. So it's not even if you look at they shut down the Browns, who really cares, right? But they haven't been giving up the bag to some of these other running backs either. And like I said, before that period, they were actually 31st in yards per carry allowed to running backs, 20th in success rate. They still do have a lot of moving parts on the defensive line. We're not expecting Ed Oliver to still play. Daquan Jones missed the last 2 games of the regular season because he injured his calf injury. He could be up. But, both rookies, Deion Walker and TJ Sanders, have played better towards the end of the season. They still have Larry Ogunjubi as a reserve 3 tech who can contribute. So, and the other factor is we have Bashal Tutin back. And Bashal Tutin, although he's not a guy you would play on his own, he still impacts Travis Etienne in the fact that 28% of Bashal Tutin's touches this year have come inside the red zone. Only Chris Rodriguez has a higher rate of touches inside the red zone this season. So even if Etienne is getting off with a little efficiency, he could still lose a touchdown still too. That's on the table.
Did you agree, Rich, with John as far as the Jags pulling off the minor upset?
So 1 through 53, I think the Jaguars are the better team. They remind me a lot of the Commanders last year going to the playoffs. When remember people kept waiting for the Commanders to lose and they kept the run going. The problem is I think that when you start listing the guys 1 through 53, the Bills still have the better one.
You got one.
And man,
exactly.
I mean, especially in a game where this is a spot where it's pretty clear, Josh Allen's gonna get pushed. It's not the Jaguars are one of the better hot start teams, first half teams. And the worst thing you can do is get a lead on the Bills. Remember a few weeks ago when the Patriots just got ahead 24-7 and everyone was starting to feel oh man, what's gonna happen now. You're almost better off just kind of having a game be kind of gross against the Bills. Remember the Browns a few weeks ago? You need kind of a gross game. If you get up on the Bills, it just kind of like unlocks God mode, man. Like he just comes out. Like it's like a level up, man. Like you kind of wake the beast.
Like Daigle, I was like, I'm going to bet the Jags. And then it's like, I feel like how far into this game do you realize, wait a second, I just bet against Josh Allen in a playoff game. And at one point, I'm betting the Jags, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, what am I doing?
I think what you would do is something like we talked about the Carolina game being maybe you don't want to lay those 10. You can do a couple. There are plenty of tease spots on this slate, though. Obviously, this being one, you could take the Jaguars up to 8.5 if you just think it's going to be a close game. You can also take something like the Steelers up through a key number as well. There's a number of ways to play around with that Carolina game if you want to bring that spread down a little tease.
We got anything else as far as Buffalo and Jacksonville?
What did we miss? I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, do you have any James Cook conversations? Just like we didn't talk about him.
We mentioned him in passing, but it didn't sound like you guys are terribly enthused about Cook. Dale, you said your favorite running back in the slate is Jacobs already. Yeah. We'll talk about CMC and Barkley in a second. Is he just kind of like lost in the sauce for you?
James Cook is, just because of the matchup against the Jaguars front seven. I mean, we kind of do this every single week, right? We did this a couple weeks ago with Jonathan Taylor explaining how good the Jaguars run defense has been. And so, James Cook is not going to be in my pools, unfortunately. But also remember, I run high stakes single entry and 3 max. So
yeah. Yeah, if you were running 100 lineups, I imagine Cook will be somewhere in your pool.
Yeah, whereas Etienne, I'm definitely still going to get in there because I know I have receiving outs regardless of his efficiency. So I'll take those outs as opposed to James Cook that we have seen in tough matchups get completely stuffed.
Yeah, the one out for James Cook is his 2 best receiving games did come against better run defenses. Ty Johnson also missed practice today with an ankle injury. Just something to keep an eye on if Ty Johnson is being out. Maybe you would just use that for that little light. Like I think James Cook's receiving prop is like 14.5 yards. Maybe that's just the better way to play it.
Allen and Cook, sometimes I play them together, just kind of get all the touchdowns for Buffalo. It's kind of another angle, I suppose you can work. But yeah, I do agree that more likely to play Allen than Cook.
But he ran for 100 yards against Houston. Like we know the Bills are still going to come out and do the Bills thing. Like they believe like the strength of this team is James Cook, this offensive line, Josh Allen. Like they're going to do what they set out to do. It's just that I am confident that the Jaguars are going to push them back.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think that's public consensus though. I think a lot of people believe in Josh Allen, James Cook in general.
I'm Liam Cohen blue pilled at this point.
I am too.
I get it because I said if they do what they do it in Denver, like why? Like Denver is a better defense than Buffalo.
Yeah,
like the Bears. I changed my tune when I saw the first round matchup. It's like, oh no. The Bills, I changed my tune. I'm like, oh no, like this is not good for Buffalo. The next game we're going to talk about, I did the same thing with the Eagles, but the opposite, where it's like, oh. Look at this path you have to the Super Bowl. You lucky MFers.
Well, let's talk about it. Good segue. San Fran at Philly, 44.5 is a total. Philly is a 4.5-point favorite. As of Wednesday, Ricky Pearsall not yet practicing. Neither is Trent Williams, which I think is pretty important to keep an eye on. We'll see how that turns out, but just keep an eye on that. The game is not till Sunday. I'll let you start us off here, Daigle. Sounds like you want to talk about, I think, Philadelphia.
Yeah, in terms of confidence level of offenses putting up points, I would say Rams and then Eagles for me about getting there. And it's just because of what we've seen from the 49ers defense. We talk about it every single week. Again, it's not their fault at all, but they don't have any talent left healthy that can stop anyone. Even Sam Darnold didn't get there last week because the running backs got there instead, but Sam Darnold still completed 20 of 26 passes. That's a struggling quarterback who got there against the 49ers. Phillip Rivers threw 2 touchdowns against them. They just can't stop anyone. And so I look at this Eagles offense and just think there's no way that no matter who they throw out there at them, they cannot stop the Eagles whatsoever. Not to mention that we do have a couple of trends going against the 49ers as well. First of all, not even a trend, just we have to wait out Trent Williams' injury, which I think is really key here. It was my fear last week on Saturday that once he got ruled out, it's like, oh, the complex of that game changes entirely. Like the Seahawks should win now because the 49ers will obviously struggle to move the ball with that Trent Williams. And that's exactly what we saw. It was Brock Purdy's fewest passing yards. It's against Seattle, so it's all taken with a grain of salt. But it was Brock Purdy's fewest passing yards since week 13 last year for 4.7 yards per attempt. And then also going back to last season, since Trent Williams missed the last 2 games, small sample, you had one of the worst run defense in the league against the Bears, then one of the best against Seattle. But with Trent Williams off the field last year, the 49ers averaged just 1.4 yards before contact per attempt, which would rank 31st this year among all offenses. And so we're looking at that. We have a long running sample. It has to go all the way back to 2018, but Kyle Shanahan as a head coach has taken on Vic Fangio 4 times, and his offense didn't reach 16 points in either of those times. And so I look at it and just say, if you don't have Trent Williams and you're playing this Eagles juggernaut defense, I struggle to see how the 49ers move the ball in this situation. So I just love the Eagles, and I love playing 3 to 4 Eagles because I have utmost confidence in the world they're going to get there with ease.
Wow. By the way, I should have mentioned, we're talking about offensive lineman. Lane Johnson expected, he's back at practice. He's probably going to, I presume he's going to be playing. I think it was limited practice on a Wednesday. It looks like he's on path. We have not seen him in a while on path to play. And certainly that would bump up the Philadelphia offense, Saquon Barkley as well. Rich, are you feeling as strong about Philadelphia as Daigle is?
I do in terms of them winning the game. I don't know if fantasy I'm as bullish as him because of what happened with Seattle. Like, the Eagles are like, Seattle almost beat themselves last week, and the Eagles have shown all season like they'll play that game, like they're willing to play that game, like not capitalize on an advantageous spot. Who amongst us hasn't chased the Eagles this year doing that, right? But it is a really great layout for them. I think to just kind of do their Eagles meandering their way through the game, even if they don't absolutely go nuclear. Because like, what does that even look like for this version of the Eagles? I mean, this
twice this year where they had a second half they did not complete a pass.
And to be fair, I don't even know. Like, I'm gonna have a hard time picking which ones, because it also could be a game where Saquon Barkley just takes it all for himself. But also, we've seen Saquon Barkley in soft spots fail too, and so maybe it's just Jalen Hurts gets them there, and then they just relieve the rest of the game to Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I think the problem here too is even liking Hurts is like he's shown no ceiling this year. Like he genuinely hasn't had any ceiling. He had 3 top 6 scoring weeks on the season. It was his fewest in his career. He was just like a floor-based QB1. It feels like one of those games. Like he's also not going to be pushed. If the Eagles are like ahead at any point, like they've never like stayed on the gas in terms of throwing the football. And he's had the fewest designed runs of his career. I think I'd rather play it through Saquon, maybe some a la carte guys like a Goddard for a touchdown, or maybe like a Devontae Smith. Because the way like the Eagles go nuclear is they get pushed, and like Daigle, I have a hard time believing that the 49ers like make this like a 38-35 game, right? I mean, since Brock Purdy returned, he has a 50% success rate or higher against the Cardinals, the Titans, the Colts, and the Bears. But against Carolina, 43.8%, against Cleveland, 40%, against Seattle, 33.3%. Philadelphia is more in line with like that Seattle pass defense. Like they're 4th in passing points allowed per game. They've allowed the lowest completion rate in the league, 6.64 yards per pass attempt to 6, the lowest touchdown rate in the league. If we're not going to have Trent Williams, the Eagles also are incredible against tight ends going back to 2 years. Like Zach Bonds are one of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL. Like the 49ers are down to basically like George Kittle having to carry this passing game at this point. Like where are the outs for like the 49ers to create explosives? It's hard to find those, right? Even Christian McCaffrey like necessarily doesn't even have like a great looking run out, because like Purdy, like all Christian McCaffrey's like huge rushing spike games have come in like tremendously obvious spots. The Giants, the Falcons, the Colts, the Bears. The only other team Christian McCaffrey ran for more than 4.2 yards per carry against outside of his opponents was the Cardinals. And the Eagles definitely don't have a squeaky clean run defense, but with Jalen Carter on the field, they've been really good and really solid. So it's like, I just struggle to see this game getting pushed to the degree where honestly you need Eagles here either.
That's an interesting take, and that's kind of how I feel as well. The CMC is the highest projected running back from a raw points perspective. Kittle is the highest projected tight end raw points perspective, but neither are spectacular matchups. His Philly defense is pretty awesome. You mentioned like Pearsall may or may not play. Jennings, like, has he fully recovered from those ribs? It feels like he's kind of beat up as well. And then it gets pretty ugly with Robinson and Bourne. There's not much going on there. And this Philly defense is pretty awesome. And I kind of agree with both you guys. That's
why I call Josh Jacobs my favorite running back. Like I like him better than Christian McCaffrey, honestly. The projections won't show that, but I just think the layout is so much better for him this week, especially because that means we can save the salary on McCaffrey. And it's McCaffrey. He can always get there. He can get 30 touches in this game and easily fall forward for a touchdown. But if we can save that salary and spend it elsewhere, I'm more interested in the 3-day slate doing that.
How is Philly as far as controlling like the running back receptions? Any sort of outliers, anything big, or is this they're kind of somewhere in the middle? Just trying to think of CMC maybe catching like 7 or 8 or 9 balls.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think any of those metrics even matter against him, really.
Okay.
Like he's going to get his opportunities in the passing game because that's the way the offense has to run, especially here because, dude, is Juwan Jennings winning against Quinyon Mitchell?
Probably
you betting on that? You betting on that? Like, I'm not.
And Pearsall, if he plays, the probability of him getting a re-injuring himself, it seems pretty high. I don't trust Pearsall, No,
I'm going to be.
I'm not going to play CMC. I think like this feels like if my median outcome for this game is like Eagles like 24-13 or like 24-10, something like that, and you hope that like maybe one of your Eagles has 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. We're not terribly enthused. There's some big names here, but the layout is probably not going to be spectacular.
I'll be underweight McCaffrey and Kittle compared to the field by a lot, most likely. In both especially the 3-game, but in the 3-day as well, because their ownerships are going to be so high in the 3-game, and I'd rather pivot elsewhere. But at least with like Bills Jaguars, I can paint that picture. At the top of the show, I mentioned 1 total going down. This is the 1 game because I think even the odds makers saw through it. It's like, oh yeah, like how are the 49ers going to move the ball in this spot?
What did it start at? I'm seeing 44.5 right now.
It's only dropped like 2.5 points.
That's still pretty significant, though. I think that's
especially considering no other total dropped at all. Yeah.
Yeah. 46.5 was the open. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you got that, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself.
I really like I really like the Eagles receivers here too, but I think at their price, like this could be a game where, you literally only get like 22 pass attempts.
As someone who rostered AJ Brown in like across leagues, it's very frustrating to see Jalen Hurts with his hands in the hand warmer, slowly slogging up to the line of scrimmage because even he doesn't want to run their plays. And then they just ultimately win every game. But I'm willing to take a chance on Dallas Goedert or AJ Brown, hoping to get a touchdown here. At least for AJ Brown, since he told fantasy managers to drop him ahead of week 11. Since then, only Puka and Amon-Ra St. Brown have been targeted at a higher rate of their routes. So the run out does come with a touchdown, of course, but I'm willing to pay that and cross my fingers for AJ Brown. Same for Dallas Goedert, who the Eagles actually, because Kevin Patula is not creative whatsoever, the Eagles as a team led the entire league in hitch and curl routes. Goddard led the league, all receivers included, with 33% of his routes being hitches. And since the Niners lost Fred Warner, they've allowed a league-high 84% completion rate to hitches because they just can't stop anyone who simply runs out and it cuts back 7-8 yards once they get out there. So I think you can get some scammy free PPR points from Goddard. And over the last 5 games, with him and Devonta Smith, the last month, I should say, the last 4 games before week 18, then Dallas Goedert actually had 8 red zone targets, which was 5th in the entire league. So that's kind of how you get the touchdowns to get out here with Saquon Barkley.
The people come here for the hitch data. I wasn't aware the hitch data was going to be dropped on us.
Well, Rich said he went deep for the worksheet, so I had to show off a little bit. I had to show I went deep for Silva's matchups, not even John Daigle's matchups.
Is it under? Do you at least get the writer's credit?
I got one. He gave me the freaking. Of course, he gave me the Texans Steelers.
That's amazing.
Monday morning, first thing I see is, you want Monday night? Do I want Monday night? No, but will I take Monday night? Yes, I'll take it.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to what you uncovered with Houston and Pittsburgh. Probably a lot of
the same shit everyone else uncovered.
DK Metcalf is back. They have a real live wide receiver.
Yeah,
we're done. We're done with that game, I believe. Yes. Let's knock out the last game on Saturday night. It's the Chargers. The Chargers at the Patriots. 46.5 is the total. The Patriots are 3.5-point favorites here at home. 25 is their team total. Rich, how are we feeling about the Patriots?
Yeah, this is another one of those games that I'm just very excited about in terms of just like the objective matchup. I mean, you look at New England, like their offense has just been, predicated on, explosives this season. They're so good at, they average 13.8 plays per game of 10 or more yards. It's fourth in the league. They lead the league in plays per game of 20 or more yards. And they also lead the league in plays this season of 50 or more yards. And that's exactly way Jesse Minter has played this defense in the last couple of years, is preventing, splash plays. I mean, they're 7th and 5th in passing yards allowed the past 2 seasons under Jesse Minter. They play too high coverage at the second highest rate in the NFL. On throws 10 or more yards downfield, the Chargers are 4th in completion rate. They allow the lowest touchdown rate in the NFL. They're 2nd in completion rate allowed on throws 20 or more yards downfield. They lead the NFL in interception rate on those throws. No quarterback threw more than 2 passing touchdowns against LA this season, only 4 through multiple passing touchdowns. That's what makes this game so intriguing. I'm very intrigued by this matchup from the Patriots passing side. And one of the things that makes the Patriots, I think, so scary right now, and I know everyone rags on them against the amount of winning teams they played. That was the entire AFC East, by the way. I mean, the Bills only played 2 more games against winning teams than the Patriots did. And to show how arbitrary this all is, the Patriots actually were 4-0 against teams that would have had a winning record if they didn't lose to the Patriots. So you see how the narrative can immediately shift like that. What makes the Patriots, I think, scarier right now in this current state is that their running game has gotten going. And not just the past couple weeks. I mean, over their past 9 games, New England running backs are 9th in success rate. They lead the NFL in yards per carry. They're 5th in explosive run rate. Before that, they were 25th in success rate, 26th in yards per carry, 23rd in explosive run rate. Obviously, that overlaps with Travion Henderson's insertion into a larger role. But we've also seen Ramondre Stevenson the past month go over 5 yards per carry in every single game. This has turned into a mini Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery type of backfield, like the last year's version of Detroit, not this year's version. And that's made them just a more balanced team. They don't have to build the whole plane out of Drake May, especially in a matchup where maybe Jesse Minter is able to take away some of those explosives. So genuinely intrigued by this game. Definitely excited to watch this one. I won't eat up the whole shot clock because there's other dynamics here, but top down, those are that. I'm looking for the Patriots run game to kind of be a catalyst here to kind of get this offense going.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be Henderson's backfield, but Stevenson's been good. He's been very, very good.
He's also a good player. They've just like David Montgomery technically is too.
Oddly, I don't think he's fumbled since his last fumble that haunted him and was the reason why he was supposed to get benched. I don't think he's fumbled since that one, in the first month of the season.
How do you feel about the Patriots, John? Feel free to jump over to the Chargers.
Yeah, it's similar. I know it's a bigger line, home favorite. Everyone's very high on the Patriots. I don't blame them, but also I do think this could be a lower scoring affair. Drake May. I don't know why I have an alarm set. Oh, NBA 8:30. Drake May leads the league in completion rate, 9.1 yards per attempt, 3rd in the league against cover 3, cover 4 looks, which Jesse Minter, as Rich said, schemes the most out of just to limit explosive plays here. Stephon Diggs is the one connection I have if you do play through a wide receiver, because at least although Diggs doesn't have a touchdown against zone coverage this year, he's the one among Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins on IR, he's the one who's consistently stood out where his rates do increase. They basically match his rates against man coverage as well. He's the one they go to most frequently in this spot. So if you want to play it that way, that's fine. But yeah, I think the Henderson, Ramondre's look is the lean here. And honestly, I don't know what you're showing in ownership right now, because I do think ownership matters in a 3-game slate, Dean. But that would probably dictate which one I play. Henderson being the more explosive one, but Stevenson still has touchdown equity here as well.
All right. I'm jumping to, you know what? We don't even have it up yet.
Okay. That's fair. It's Sunday. It's only Wednesday.
Yeah. So, and it probably wouldn't be that good, to be honest, at this point, right? It's just, they'll figure it out, but right now it's, I hate having the ownership conversation so early, but
yeah, especially for a small slate. I get it.
It's definitely worth having and worth discussing, depending on how things play out as the week progresses. Do we like much on the Chargers, Daigle? I don't have a lot to love on the Chargers. How about yourself?
I just think it's a tough look. Since the Chargers, we've talked about this every week, how the Chargers, you can't play them anymore. I already lost mortgage playing them in the first 2 months of the season. But since they lost Joe Alt, they just have no ceiling at all. Justin Herbert scored 30 points against the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, but in 6 starts around that without Alt, he's averaged 11.4 fantasy points. That's as much as Davis Mills averaged in his interim stint. And so I genuinely just don't think we have any pop here to be excited about. Not only that, but it does seem like Amari Hampton's trending to be a true game time call now. DNP today, and the way they talked about it, it was like, oh, it's actually a setback he suffered, not just going through the motions and being ready to play. So we might get all Kamani Vidal, but also we're getting Milton Williams here too. And when the Patriots had Milton Williams, that's when they were one of the top 3 run defenses in terms of yards before contact allowed. So, I just think it's a really tough run out here for the Chargers.
Rich, does anybody excite you here in the Chargers? Like McConkey, I don't know what happened to him. He's had a couple good games on the season, but he's been a massive disappointment. People are expecting a breakout here in season 2. Hasn't quite happened. Obviously, the line, you got to get time to throw the ball, and that just has been an issue. The line has fallen apart here with all the injuries for the Chargers. Their quarterback still has he's still got the power glove, I imagine. He's still got the broken hand, the broken wrist on his offhand. Love Herbert, but just kind of feel like that hampers him in some way. Rich, can you sell me on anybody on the Chargers?
It is tough. And not only Milton Williams came back, but the Patriots are projected to get Robert Spillane and Kairos Tonga back in this game as well for Sunday night. So they're getting all the guys back that made that defense, really tough to run on early in the season. And the Chargers are just not a team that's really run effectively all season as well. So not very bullish on the run game. Probably gonna have to throw to pass. Like, this is another game. Like, if the Chargers want to win this game, they've got to muck it up. Like, it really has to be an ugly game. And Jesse Minter could do that, right? Like, you've got a quarterback making his first career postseason start. So, like, that's the path, though. Like, if this game turns into like a track meet a little bit, like, I don't think the Chargers can keep up, just because we haven't seen them be able to do that against anyone outside of Dallas. So it's kind of got to be an ugly game. McConkey's like pretty easy, like, to diagnose what happened, obviously outside of the offensive line, but the addition to Keenan Allen really kind of sapped him. I mean, his early down target share is almost identical as this year to last year. He's a 20.2% early down target share. His rookie season was 21.9%, but as a rookie, he had 25.4% of the team targets on third down. That went to 18.4% this year. Keenan Allen is second in the NFL in third down target share. Only Amon-Ra St. Brown is higher. So that's just kind of what's pulled away from McConkey, paired with like being the low volume pass game and then the offensive line issues, because it's killed everyone. Like, the Joe Alt stuff has made everyone worse in this offense. McConkey, Oronde Gadsden. There are like signals for, I think, McConkey and Gadsden in terms of matchup, but like, where's the ceiling been for these guys, right? Because you still have to pay for it a little bit in terms of equity, in terms of salary for a guy like McConkey. It's not like, again, we always talk about, it's not like the price goes down for these guys. The brick never goes down for these guys that have underwhelmed. And that's kind of where McConkey's been. But the Patriots have been significantly worse against slot receivers, especially in terms of allowing touchdowns. They also have raised their rate of man coverage this season on McConkey, obviously, because he's such a good route runner. His targets go up when he faces man coverage, but where's the ceiling been? Like, what are we latching on to? I feel similarly to Chargers guys as the Bears guys we talk about. I feel like even with a touchdown at some of the cost for these guys, you're necessarily not even getting a lot of value.
Go ahead.
Even, Rich said the Patriots matchup in the slot, but that's the thing. Like, Keenan Allen, you can't possibly go to. He's just coming off a streak before week 18 when Trey Lance was basically demanded to throw him the ball. He scored single-digit fantasy points for 9 consecutive games before that. He just doesn't have it anymore when every start is out there, and they're not being told to make sure he gets incentives. Not only that, but Quentin Johnston leads the team in running 86% of his routes from out wide, so you can't really roll him out there either. It's just a really tough run out.
Did Keenan Allen break off Trey Lance a piece? Was it $1 million bonus?
Oh, yeah. Didn't you see when he got the catch? When he on the sideline, he did the.
Yeah. But I'm saying, is there something going on? Was there?
He had to.
Anybody asked about this?
Dude, he was just jamming targets to him. It was awesome.
I mean, 13 targets. That was the second most he's got all year.
And he had like 35 yards.
Of course he did. Yeah.
7 catches on 13 targets for 36 yards.
All from Trey Lance. It's relative, but yeah, incredible. We've seen now it's 2.5 months going on where Keenan Allen has been useless for fantasy. I just kind of think we're expecting that again.
But Trey Lance wants to put out like good tape, right? Like, does that make his tape look worse? Forcing everything to Keenan Allen? I don't know, but maybe he'll just take, who knows if there's any kind of, I'm just curious if they're going to back door deals. I saw the Hunter Henry
Also, still amazing, by the way, if we're talking about Trey Lance, the last 2 years, the Cowboys traded for Trey Lance, Jonathan Mingo, and Joe Milton to shore up their roster.
And what did they give up? Like how many? What like one?
Remember, they gave up more for Jonathan Mingo than the Bills gave up for Amari Cooper. Which I mean, I guess looking back, Amari Cooper is Jonathan Mingo, but whatever.
Oh man, you forget that Mingo's even on the Cowboys.
Yeah, he played a couple snaps in Week 18 when no one else played.
I want before we move on, Rich, your favorite play on both sides of this game is who? I know you don't love the Chargers so much. You got to pick your favorite play on both sides. It's who?
I like Patriots running backs. We should note too that both of these teams, you're probably not getting to either quarterback on this slate, but both of these teams are amongst the league worst in terms of allowing rushing production to quarterbacks. So like both these guys do have outs with their legs a little bit, but man, like I just have a hard time seeing either of these guys competing with Josh Allen, or Lawrence on this slate. Like it's just real rough, man.
I still wonder if people play Hurts over Lawrence too. Like I would normally say people are naturally going to get to Drake May because everyone, and why blame them, loves Drake May. But I mean, those are some ownership hills to climb of talking about the other quarterbacks on the Sunday slate.
Daigle, this is the end of the Sunday slate. Who's your favorite play on the slate in its entirety?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm getting there, but if you're like Reeves and want to be underweight, not to put words in your mouth, Reeves, but it sounded like you weren't as high on ETN as me. Same for both of us for Christian McCaffrey. Then you can play both Patriots running backs. Go that route instead. I still like Saquon Barkley. I like Barkley and Goddard. I think those are my two favorite plays. If I don't play Hurts, just try to one off or two off them without Hurts. But yeah, I like the angle of ETN and Allen with both tight ends.
Barkley Eagles defense sounds pretty interesting too, paired with that defense.
Yep.
Rich, you have a favorite play on these three games?
I think if I'm playing an Eagle that's like close to overweight and you're probably eating it is probably Barkley the most still. Yeah, I mean, I'm Josh Allen away. I think like I almost think that you just played Josh Allen in every lineup.
Jeez.
And this, like, I look at this spot and it's just like this is like a Josh Allen spot, right? Like a high score on the road against the potentially high scoring team and the highest game total against the pass funnel defense. Like,
you got to do everything.
Like, why not? Like, why would we like this? Feels like they're just inviting us. Like, why ignore it? So. I think you can play Josh Allen by himself. You can play him with both tight ends. If you want to add a Jamoke like Brandon Cooks, whatever. Man, yeah, I have a hard time not just wanting to jam Josh Allen on every team.
Is that your quote unquote favorite? Like if it's Cooks, Shavers, Palmer, Coleman, Davis, is Cooks the favorite amongst that nonsense?
If you made me pick a wide receiver only, it would be Brandon Cooks. But I don't think you could play Dalton Kincaid as a wide receiver.
Yeah. Projections will probably play Shakir, like if you got it, but I would talk about the full on nonsense.
We didn't really talk about Shakir. It is like noteworthy though about that game. If we do get the passing production in that game, 2 weeks ago when they played the Eagles, the Bills ran their season high rate of 11 personnel, and the Jaguars, who have been good against slot receivers this year, lost Jordan Lewis though for the season, and they've had to reshuffle their secondary. So now Jerry and Jones is in the slot role and they've moved Monteric Brown outside. So the season-long stuff for the Jaguars could be kind of false lead. So maybe we do need to look at Shakir a little bit.
Oh boy, there we go. This game is going to be played. It's the Texans and the Steelers, 39.5 total. Pittsburgh is a 3-point home point, 3-point dog, and allegedly might be Tomlin's last game if they lose. Then there's kind of some rumors out there. Hell of a run for him. Yeah, we get DK Metcalf back here. Daigle, you wrote it up, so you're going to start us off. Texans, Steelers. I know you're excited to talk about everything you wrote when it comes to this game. What do you got?
I mean, it's brutal because you would think you want to play it from the CJ Stroud side, and this is something we've talked about throughout the season, where his three highest scores came against the Ravens before their bye when they were all banged up, and then the 49ers and Cardinals afterwards, who, by the way, were also both all banged up. And so now we're looking at the Steelers, which in the second half of the season, whenever they've shifted Jalen Ramsey to safety in week 9, whenever they've had TJ Watt in the field in this back half, they lead the league in pressure rate. And CJ Stroud this year under pressure has been dreadful. 23rd completion rate, 25th in yards per attempt. So I think it's just a significantly tough run out. I'm still interested in Nico Collins, even in this second half of the season, and changing these defensive pieces and shoring up their leaks over the top. The Steelers have struggled to defend wide receiver ones. They're allowing 8.9 targets per game, which is the third most in the league to wide receiver ones. Not to mention that from Stroud, Nico Collins has the 6th highest target share in the league when Stroud is under pressure, when any quarterback has been pressured. And so still like jamming in Nico Collins, leaving space for Kenneth Gainwell, for example. But I think it's just really thin, and we're looking at more of a field goal game. Like, we're talking about a team in the Steelers, by the way, who just last Sunday night in primetime, their head coach pounded his chest because basically it was because the best defensive player on the other side got a concussion and the field goal kicker missed a kick. Like, that's why the coach was pounding his chest proud about a win. Didn't do anything else beyond that.
They let what's his name got loosed twice in the secondary against Pittsburgh. Zay Flowers.
Isaiah Likely wasn't necessarily loose. That was a Lamar Jackson play, but I mean, Likely still made the catch to set them up.
Yeah.
And no one even remembers that because Tyler Lute, man, sucks.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Metcalf is back for Pittsburgh. So real life wide receiver. I don't think we get to dig into like Thielen and Scotty Miller and MVS so much. Maybe in the those showdown streaks, Daigle. But Rich, you write this up too. I don't know why I said Daigle wrote it up on ETR. You write up everything, every single game. You had the pleasure as well to talk about Texans and Steelers. What did you uncover on the Sharp Football Analysis?
Yeah, I mean, the similar stuff, right? Like, these are two offenses that struggle to generate explosives. Steelers are 20th in success rate. Houston's 28th. They're just like, both teams rely on like the turnover battle to kind of win games. Although Houston's been better without turnovers than Steelers have, but it's just like another one of these games that feels ugly. It feels like a fist fight. One of those rock fights. Stroud, like we talked about all year, just like, again, we've been able to identify his spike weeks. The one thing I don't really stock with CJ Stroud that people keep bringing up is like the outdoor stuff. Like, the last time, like when they lost in the playoffs last year, he threw for 9 yards per pass attempt in Arrowhead. Like, what
outdoor stuff are they bringing up? I didn't even know there was like a conspiracy theory about CJ Stroud outdoors.
CJ Stroud, who played college football in Ohio,
he played outside at Ohio State. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But until they win one of these games, they'll probably like keep having that stuff brought up. But in Arrowhead last year, like, he was legitimately good. The team just had nothing left in the tank. But yeah, and then you look at Aaron Rodgers, like, he's been another guy, like his spike weeks have been completely identifiable as well too. Like, he's thrown more than 2 passing touchdowns in 2 games. Week 1 against the Jets, and then week 7 against the Bengals.
Yeah.
His other 2 QB1 score weeks came against Baltimore. The second of which, Kyle Hamilton. They did nothing until Kyle Hamilton left that game on Sunday night. And then you're going against this Houston defense that just doesn't give up spike week production, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers played 5 games against top 10 pass defenses this season. He's averaged 9.3 fantasy points per game in those contests. He's gone over 200 passing yards in one of them. The one positive thing you can say about Aaron Rodgers is, like, he has no interest in getting hit. That ball is coming out in this game. 56% of his passes have come out within 2.5 seconds of snap. It's by far the highest rate in the league. To be fair to like that setup, like, Houston has been a little bit worse. Like, when teams do get the ball out fast against them, like, they dropped to 13th in yards per pass attempt, like, still in the top half of the league, but they're 4th when teams hold the football against them. So at least that is going for them. But like, there's no objective, like, glowing matchup here to exploit. Maybe the one is like Kenneth Gainwell in the receiving game. Running backs have 23% of the receptions that Houston has allowed. That's the 6th highest rate in the league. They're 22nd in yards per target and 22nd in yards per catch allowed to running backs. But like, it's so thin in fantasy football just to play like a receiving only back, right? And I know he did have a rushing touchdown last week, but he's barely gone over 30 yards in any game this season. It's just really like, who has a good matchup here on the Steelers side to where we feel like kind of bullish about anyone.
That's kind of my point with it too, is that I think the Steelers can move the ball. It's just going to be brutal and dragged out and slow.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Kenneth Gainwell offers a floor even in 3-day slates where you probably want to have some Kenneth Gainwell, honestly, because he gets these free points. Him and Jaylen Warren have settled in their roles, and that Warren now the last month has at least 12 carries in all 4 games. And the last 4 games, Gainwell's carries have come down in each of them, but he's seen 7 targets in 4 of his last 5 starts. Like, that's where Kenneth Gainwell, by the way, who the entire locker room voted him team MVP. That's how important he is to this offense and this team. Yeah, that wasn't a Rodgers vote. That was a teammate vote. and Kenneth Gainwell won team MVP for the Steelers.
They did it for Rodgers, though.
What would it be if not Gainwell?
Good job.
That's a good point, too. It'd probably be Aaron Rodgers, yeah. But yeah, I mean, he is important the way he operates, not to mention, like, he provides points at a position on a 3-day slate that can definitely get there. So I don't mind holding out for Kenneth Gainwell. It's just going to be, and at least we saw last week, Aaron Rodgers, like nothing, until Kyle Hamilton went down. And then afterwards, he still averaged with, and by the way, this is Aaron Rodgers who's calling pretty much a John Cena match in the scrimmage. Like, he's going out there and be like, Thielen, we've only known each other for 14 days, but you got to run this route when I call this. And like, he's just calling everything as he sees it in the huddle. And even then on 20 passes, he averaged 9.8 yards per attempt once Hamilton left the field. So I don't think it's going to be sexy and you can't quantify it, but Tomlin Voodoo has this game like written all over it with the Steelers home win.
I mean, this is the draw that they wanted. I mean, you've got an offense and to be fair, like, I'm not saying like that's a lock, but it's like they're facing an offense that generally like just has one like really key component being Nico Collins. They don't have a good running game. They're actually one of the worst running teams remaining in the playoffs. They don't have a good offensive line. Like, it does set up well to like for Pittsburgh to play like their style of game. Like, this is a team that also plays Pittsburgh style of game. And that's like what you hope for if you're the Steelers. Like, if you look at the Steelers, like in all their games that they've struggled against these good teams, the teams that don't play like their style of football.
It's the 5 moves of doom. Is that what that is, Daigle? Is that the Cena 5? Is that what it's called? I think is that.
Yes, 5 moves doom, and then of course the bare knuckle shuffle.
The you can't see me. Is that what that is?
Or five knuckle shuffle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When Hribar said that like the ball is just going to be out of Rodgers' hands immediately. Yeah, going right to Gainwell. Right to Gainwell.
Right to Gainwell.
The PPR scam is in full effect, and you're probably starting with 6 points with Gainwell, but you're not going to get a ton on the ground necessarily. And this game does feel like who's going to out ugly the other one, right? Like, first touchdown wins, maybe. I don't know. It's
the total suggests 21 points for the Texans, 18 for the Steelers. I was like, there's no chance either of these teams reaches 18 points. Just zero chance.
So we're betting under 39.5. Is that what I'm hearing?
We talk about first round draws. Like, the Texans are, the way they operate, they are a Super Bowl contender. This is a bad, terrible first round draw for them.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say? Not a lot glowingly here about Houston and Pittsburgh. This is the old lipstick on a pig. It is the hammer game.
I mean, it's going to be a game that, at least from a playoff perspective, as a viewer, like, is probably going to be close to peak interest throughout, right? Like, it is going to be intriguing in that regard, I believe.
Yeah, maybe it gets like the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game was boring until it wasn't. Maybe it picks up in the fourth quarter and things get interesting. But
well, you need Derek Stingley to magically go out in this game.
Yeah. Don't have a lot of confidence in this game being terribly exciting. And on the 6-gamer, it's going to probably be lost. Okay, that is the 6 games. Just all 6 games, Rich. All 6 games. Your favorite stack on the board would be what?
Favorite stack in all the games. Oh, geez. I honestly feel a lot of these games go under. I think most of these games go under outside of Bills Jags. Like, I feel like just that's a game you want a lot of piece of. And then obviously Rams onslaughts, no matter what you play it, full confidence in the Rams offense getting there. So, I mean, those are the 2 things that I'm gonna be focusing on is Rams and then Jags Bills.
It'll be interesting. Like, if you're playing the 6-game slate, like if you're faded Puka and he did like had a bad game, like how you can take advantage of that. Just obviously be aware of how things go and like just playing the results. And if you didn't have Puka and he puts up like 40 fantasy points, make sure you get to a Pittsburgh stack or something. You need a miracle.
It's the worst thing they could have done in starting. Maybe the best thing they could have done starting the entire weekend with the Rams, because everyone's going to figure out whether they've lost money or won money in the first 3 hours of wild card weekend.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you like the idea if you're playing the 3-game slate though, like Daigle brought up, to be more aggressive with some of the Saturday guys that you like, whether it be a Josh Jacobs or because like most people are going to try to backlog it a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like you got to have some Rams. So like you guys are talking.
Yeah, you do. I think on the 3-game slate you do need Rams regardless.
And if you on the 3-day. If you do hold a spot for Nico or Gainwell, you can always late swap if you need to catch up to Woody Marks. Not saying Marks is going to get there, but especially with Jawar Jordan trending towards being out, Woody Marks is going to get 20 to 25 touches. You can luck box into a touchdown.
Your favorite stack, Daigle, on the board, all 6 games?
Yeah, I like the Allen 2 tight ends with ETN, but I'm probably going to nuke Rams, 5 Rams in some spots.
5?
Buddy, we're playing all the receivers. We're just can't leave out Parkinson and Higbee as well. So
Stafford, Puka, Devontae,
yeah,
Parkinson, and Higbee?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. Well, Kyron. Yeah, Kyron is at the running back, I suppose, too.
No running backs. If I play Stafford, I'm probably not going to play the running backs with them. I'm gonna go vice versa. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lineup where it has the Rams running backs. I'm gonna have a lineup where it has all the Rams pass catchers with Stafford.
I do like Jordan Love too. I do like the Green Bay pass catchers as well. Like the Saturday games, I think offer quite a bit.
And Watson, I would say Watson the best pass catcher for Green Bay.
Yeah, I like both Watson and Reed with I think if you do that, you then do both Rams running backs.
I'm going to have 100%.
Unless you want to do like Swift or something.
I'll have 100% Josh Jacobs as well in every slate.
You take him at his word. Do you believe he's feeling 100%? He's going to get 30 touches or so against Chicago.
Yeah. I don't know if that means the Packers win, but I'm very confident in Jacobs' workload in this game.
Give y'all an hour and a half on the opening week of playoffs. Again, reminder, if you didn't hear at the top for whatever reason, we are going to be back next week talking the next round of the playoffs.
Hopefully not about the Steelers. Yeah. No offense to Steelers fans out there.
Oh boy,
Steelers out. And because we're counting on the Eagles going on. I'm very Eagles out after writing up 18 Eagles games this year. It's just been an offense that's just not fun to write about.
It's not going to happen, but I am kind of hoping that maybe a light switch turns on and the Eagles become fun in the playoffs. Again, it's not going to happen. But.
How do we feel about Renegade in the the conversation of best stadium songs? Where's Renegade?
It's got to be up there, right?
I mean, Sweet Caroline for the Red Sox. We're switching sports, but that's one that I just know. I know they always play Renegade. I think the end of the third, right? But what other ones? Is there other famous ones? Let us know in the chat. And Daigle, we got anything else as far as specific stadium songs?
Don't they always play the same ones over and over again?
Well, yeah, but that's the one I know. For some reason, I just know Renegade by Styx is always being played in Pittsburgh.
Sandstorm. I think that's what it's called. Isn't that the one that goes yeah.
That's that's a UCF play. That one everybody plays. I think that's what
I'm saying. I feel like the same songs. They all play like a Bruno Mars song now too. Every stadium band does the same thing.
I think Michigan does Mr. Brightside, if I'm not mistaken.
Enter the Sandman. Yeah, it's a good one.
That's Vatek. Yeah. All right. That's the signal. That's the end of our football. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in producer TJ Zords jumping in here, as well as Rob. Rob Coakley also jumping in. Rob, feeling better? We talked about it last week. We're almost 100%. You're giving it a go?
Yeah, I'm feeling better. And then I heard Daigle say the bare knuckle shuffle, and I almost just threw my computer out the
playoffs. Window. My brain is still not working. I corrected myself. It just takes.
You did fix it. You did fix it. Yeah. I'll give you that at least.
TJ, how are things?
Things are good. Good, fun, busy day. My NBA teams are all dead. Trae Young just got traded, but like listening to you guys talk some football. So life is good.
Washington.
Yeah, for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert.
Nothing else?
Nope.
Man, that says a lot about Trae Young's value, huh? Wow, that's
in the hair, right?
That is. I thought there would be possibly a third team involved, but okay. It's a football podcast. Well, you know what? We're done with the football. That's it for football. Now we're transitioning to a movie podcast. TJ chose this week's movie, The Life of Chuck. I'll go ahead and give you guys the
It's newer. Before you give the synopsis, I think if you are going to watch this movie, you should go in blind. So that's my one caveat.
I went 100% blind. Did you go in blind as well, Rob?
Yes.
I did too.
Me too.
I knew nothing about this movie.
Didn't know anything.
I was like, The Life of Chuck. I don't remember this when this even came out. I was not even aware of it. And TJ threw it at us last week.
Shocking to me that if I had a nickel for every time in the last 2 weeks where we watched a movie and the quote unquote lead didn't show up until 39 minutes into the movie, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice in a row.
Weeks. Yeah.
And you do
9 minutes on the dot for both of them. Tom Hiddleston shows up in this one, and Benoit Blanc shows up in Wake Up Dead.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, he like the character is more the lead than the actor, though. It's like a notebook.
Yeah.
It's like a notebook situation.
Yeah.
You did know this lead very well, given his Marvel history. So that's why you were so upset.
No, it wasn't upsetting. It was just shocking. Like, I didn't realize that. It took me so long to figure out what was going on.
I'm still confused that it's a Stephen King book because I don't relate this theme to Stephen King.
Well, there's some a little bit of, I don't know, fantasy.
You mean the man who always has something to say about death doesn't have commentary of death?
Do we want Rotten Tomatoes summary? Or do we want IMDb summary? Let's see. This movie just came out, by the way. Just came out. It's we did watch it on. God, where did I watch
Hulu.
it?
It's on Hulu.
Yes.
Was this in theaters or was it only streaming? That it was a streaming release?
No, it was in theaters.
Okay.
It debuted at Toronto International Film Festival earlier in this year, and then it went to theaters probably a couple months ago.
Yeah, I think Neon bought it. I think Neon is the distributor. Directed by Mike Flanagan, written by Mike Flanagan and Stephen King. Stephen King adaptation, starring Tom Hiddleston. And again, he's starring in it, but not really. He's in it, enough, I suppose. We're going to say he's starring in it. The summary. By the way, if you're going to watch this, don't listen because I'm sure we're going to spoil the heck out of it. All right. IMDb summary, very simple. A life-affirming, genre-bending story about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz. TJ, you picked this movie. I'll let you start. You went in cold. It sounds like basically all of us went in cold on the life of Chuck outside of just maybe seeing the poster. Your thoughts on the life of Chuck?
Yeah, I went in totally cold. I knew this, all I really knew was this is a movie spread across the entirety of someone's life, and it is very contemplating of one's life is essentially all I knew about it. I did edit an article review for this on agentsofphantom.com, but it was spoiler free, and so I didn't get I didn't get in depth about what the plot was about it. I just kind of found out what the writer thought about the movie. And so I didn't know much about it at all. And I think that's probably a top 10, 2025 release for me this year. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was so bought into the emotional themes that they were going throughout the movie with kind of the comparing and contrasting of when the world is ending, you only want to spend time with the person you love, but also when the person you love is dying, that feels as though the world is ending. And I really liked how those two themes crept into the stories of, going kind of in Benjamin Button mode, telling of his life, where we're seeing the end of it first. And we see all of these people that we will then meet he has met throughout his life, basically just getting woven into an apocalyptic dream sequence that I was very confused about at the start, but the more I watched the movie, just became more intrigued with. And as you kind of see him in the hospital for the first time, you realize all these signs creeping into this story are his loved ones, because even though this story is an apocalypse of the world going on in his brain, we see that for those around him, it's like the world is ending. And that is all that matters, is that he's not going to be there anymore. And I just found it to be, it has hit me in a time in my life where I have, I'm kind of in a spot where, and I don't want to sound like, life's great, it's perfect. But I'm in a spot where I kind of have achieved all the things I want to achieve. I am working the job I want to work. I have a family that I really love getting to hang out with, and things are set up pretty well. And I've always had troubles with anxiety, but now things have kind of stemmed to me for I'm kind of afraid of dying in a way that I've never been afraid of dying before when I was younger. And it's just because I don't want to miss out on all the things I have going on right now. And so the themes of this movie connected with me in a really big way. And it's kind of tough to compare like to weave in comic book movies into my movies of the year ranking, just because it's the genre I love. I biasly rank them so far above a lot of other things, but like including non-comic book movies, I think this probably hits like my top 5 of 2025.
I think it very much matters at what point in your life you're in when you watch this movie. Like a 15-year-old sees this movie definitely differently than like a 25-year-old and a 40-year-old and a 70-year-old, I would imagine. And do we like the way that storytelling was done? Like chapter 3, and like, okay, is it going to be 3 chapters? Is it 5 chapters? I assume it's the traditional 3 chapters, so we're just going to kind of work our way backwards. Did we like that setup, Rich? It was very confusing. Obviously, we had no idea what was going on. We kind of figured it out later on in the the movie, but it's like 39 great years. Like this guy's like, you think he's retiring from a company, and he's like, this guy's not 70 or 65 or 50. Why 39 great years? And I'm confused. And we pieced it together later on. How did you feel about the life of Chuck, Rich?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Like TJ, I like a lot of the themes here, but I mean, there's like a lot of Stephen King short stories. Like he has something really interesting, and there's like probably a better version of this that exists. Like I wanted more. I definitely want more of the first act, which was the third act. Like I want more of that being a movie. I love the idea of like an internal body, like symbolizing like the internet going down, like his ability like to like lose communication skills, right? Like the sinkholes and stuff, like the roads breaking down, like the highways. Like I want a movie of now. I wanted more of the movie of like the like people inside of a body that's dying. And then like that being like the death of the person, like what are these ads for? Who the hell is Chuck, right? Like, and it's the person, right? Like and at the end where it's all coming out with like the glowing signs and everything. It's like, oh man, like once it hit and I realized it's like, man, well, I really wanted the whole movie to be more about that. I found like that part the most intriguing part of the movie. But the one thing I really like about this movie though is that unlike a lot of Stephen King stuff, is that it's a movie about death that celebrates life. And like I hang out with Daigle a lot and like in person, and to a fault sometimes. I'm someone that always tells people, it's like, what if you just had more fun? Like when people are being a drag, I'm like, what if you just had more fun? Like what if you just enjoyed things more? And like so like seeing a movie that like actually is about death but celebrating life as part of death is something that I generally live my life by, and I'm glad that we had that like in a movie form because that's how a lot of people should live.
Daigle?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. On one hand, I felt like I should have just read the book. I didn't think some of the things translated to a movie. On the other hand, like the other 50% I enjoyed. Like my favorite act was the dancing scene, which is more whimsical, which is kind of like how I live anyways. But it's kind of in its own way, it was like 20 minutes of La La Land. But I really like the dancing scene a whole lot.
Which one?
Well, that's true, because this movie could also just be propaganda for Big Dance. But the dancing in front of the drummer, like helping her out, seeing her smile on her face with a random stranger, and then being asked like, "Why'd you do that?" And he's like, "I don't know. Like, I don't know. Why I just had a good time. Why I enjoyed life." That seems like more like the way I live life. So, I enjoyed it. I don't think I had as many takeaways, like in terms of, because it's about death, but it's feel good. Like I don't leave this movie feeling bad. I still think it's a bright light. It makes me feel good. But in terms of like feel good stuff, I still think they could have done some things better. So I thought it was fine. Honestly,
the other thing about this movie that I found interesting, and it kind of reminded me of Arrival when we talked about that one a little bit, is like exploring the theme of, that was the one part that I didn't overly connect with, like the sci-fi elements of he saw his death, then that's what was in this room. Like what was in this room was like the least interesting part of the movie for me.
Yeah, that was when they were like, "Oh, Stephen King did this," like he couldn't help himself.
Exactly. That was the least interesting part of the movie for me, but I did think it kind of wrapped an interesting concept around the other themes of life and death that they were covering, and it's similar to Arrival is, how do you live your life when you know how and when it's going to end? The waiting is the hardest part. And while I think that is the way the movie messaged it didn't really resonate with me, I think the message is still very interesting of like, if you have a, terminal illness, you're going to live your life very differently than when you don't. And it's kind of what is stopping you from living your best life before you get to that point.
Speaking of songs in stadiums, Tom Petty won't back down. Florida Gators. Shout out to Tom Petty. Waiting is the hardest part. And that was Mark Hamill character, the grandpa character, and it seemed like that's what he was just kind of waiting for the whole. He knew his wife was going to die, just didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. And it seemed like he wasn't really enjoying life. He was just drinking himself to death essentially because he knew that was inevitable at some point. And I guess we'll talk about it at some point.
Yeah, is Mark Hamill just now like he's attached to every Stephen King project? Like, is that just like going to be his next phase?
What else was he in?
The Long Walk.
Oh yeah, that's right. I watched that. I recently watched that too. That was it's on Stars. I got Stars for $12 for the entire year on Black Friday. It's paid itself off.
Oh, we didn't watch it for a review on the show?
No, we mentioned it in passing, but we never.
Oh, you said you watched it one episode though too.
I did
watch. I watched it too. I went to the theater to see it. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if I love the ending, but I liked it. I don't know how to end.
I mean, that's a Stephen King like I feel like he even the stuff like that doesn't like you always feel like there's more to have. Like he presents something interesting, and like you always just like, man, like would this story have been better in someone else's hands?
But also, Stephen
the book
King
ending's way better. Sorry, Daigle. The book ending is way better on The Long Walk.
Oh, I didn't know that. But also Stephen King books, they're always like 750 pages. That doesn't translate to an hour and a half or 2 hours. So that's also not fair to Stephen King.
This one's I think they both were short stories, right?
Yeah. The Long Walk's a short story. I highly recommend. I haven't read this particular The Life of Chuck book, but if you've watched The Long Walk, and you liked it, I highly recommend reading the book. I think the movie does some stuff better, but I think the book does some stuff better.
It's a pretty simple plot.
Yeah.
It's like Squid Games, sort of. Rob, you're quiet as far as The Life of Chuck. We all want to know, your take. At least I want to know. I want to know how you felt about this movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm sorry to disappoint that I actually liked the movie. I thought it was a great movie. I like Mike Flanagan for the most part, and I think he does great work, especially with themes of emotion, and he's able to manipulate that in different ways. Again, if you haven't watched The Haunting of Hill House, that TV series is one of my favorite TV series of all time. I suggest watching that. But he does a whole different thing here where he's talking about heavy themes in this movie, but he's doing it in a way that it doesn't drag you down. Like he still keeps it like lighthearted to a degree, you know what I mean? Rather than like every scene being a scene of dread, it's still a scene of hope more than anything. And I kind of like the way that he does that in this movie. I enjoyed the first act the best out of all the acts because I liked going and seeing all these characters in that world that he developed. And I like seeing it shows you like how simple things from somebody might not mean something to that person, but it stays with you for a lifetime. And that's what a lot of these characters that we followed in the third act did for him in the first act. Like the main guy that we followed in the third act wasn't even his teacher. He was a teacher at his school.
Yeah.
Wasn't his teacher, but said something kind to him once at the school dance. And like, so that person stayed with him. A little kid roller skating just stayed in his mind because it was something that he, latched onto in that particular moment. And Walt Whitman's pretty big in this. Like you see that theme, the Carl Sagan thing with the calendar was something that he really latched onto as a kid. And like, so that theme keeps coming throughout his life. And obviously like the dance and stuff like that. Like, I think it's really well done. I think it shows the natural progression of somebody's life where not everything is perfect, but you're able to still do things that you love, even if it doesn't become your career. And we lose that sometimes we don't, but you can always go back to it. The acting in this movie I thought was phenomenal. I loved Mark Hamill in this movie. Tom Hiddleston was obviously great. We had Heather Langenkamp in this movie for a scene, which I was shocked. I haven't seen her in anything but a Friday the 13th movie in quite some time. So that was interesting to see her in this movie. She was great. I don't know. I thought everything about this movie was pretty well done. I understand people not liking the room scene, but I think it's very important because the theme to me of the movie is you can live your life like his grandfather, who wasn't a bad person, but lived in fear, or you can live your life and just face it. And that's what Tom Hiddleston did. And them both being able to see the same things, whether you think it was real or metaphorically, like it shows you that there's different pathways to handle that. And so I do like the stuff with the room that's locked, because it shows you there's different ways to move through your life, and you can do it in a way that's more fun, or you can do it in a way that's just sort of waiting for death.
We also got a one-off scene from Matthew Lillard, old friend Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. What's his name? Damian DeHagenin or something. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but just randomly was just one of the parents of the students for like 4 seconds in the movie. Like it was just
the entirety of the first act were Marvel Cinematic Universe actors. Literally everyone.
I mean, listen, they made a corollary about his dick stop working, like his, yeah. Because I mean, listen, I want the whole movie to be about that, like that to be a movie, just like your body breaking down and how you could tie that into real life. Because they talked about like treating the earth bad, right? Which was clearly his body. Like, you know, like I love that. The internet going down, he said, Matthew Lillard basically came in and explained like the disease. He's like, it's not even a year, 14 months. Like, explain the disease. Like, I was like, oh, I'm like, once that clicked, I was like, I wanted all that. I want to build the whole plane out of that.
We also, by the way, the grandma. Does anybody know who the grandma was and what she what else she was known for? You're gonna feel old when I tell you, but she was known for. We haven't seen her in a long time. She basically retired and liked the quiet life. That's what she chose. But the grandma was Mia Sara, the girlfriend from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
You feel old? That's who that is. She was great. She's apparently friends with Mike Flanagan, and Mike Flanagan just kind of talked her into it, but she just doesn't really act anymore, basically. You see her sparingly. I was pulling up her IMDb, and like, she hasn't done much because that's what she's choosing. She doesn't want to do much.
It didn't make me feel that old because I was looking at her and thinking, like, she is clearly so much younger than Mark Hamill that like that was like my defining thought about her was like how young this woman looked.
She must be in her 50s or close to 60 now at this point.
Yeah, she's 58, Hamill's 74.
Say it again.
She's 58 and Hamill's 74.
There you go. Yeah, and
that was part of the storytelling choice as well. Of like, Mark Hamill's character was like drowning his grief in alcohol and not treating his body right, whereas it wasn't long before Mia Sara's character was very much like finding the joy in life and living her life to the best of her capabilities. And I do think that was like a storytelling choice to have the one doing that age very gracefully and the one who was not aging very poorly.
Chuck didn't know it was in that room. He always wanted to know it was in that room. He, of course, saw himself dying, on his deathbed, and he knew it was him because he had the mark on his hand that we saw that accident when he was a kid on the fence. So he definitely knew it was him. You couldn't really tell how old he was, but I guess it begs he didn't know it was in that room, but if you know what's in that room, TJ or anybody, do you want to know what's in that room? Do you want that answer or you don't want that answer?
Yeah, I want it. You
want the answer?
Yeah, I want it.
I don't.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, definitely not. I go back and forth on it. Why yes, Rob?
Because even though like the idea of these movies is like to tell you to do better in life and to have more fun and everything like that, when you actually have the clock, you will make those changes, right? When you know if you have a lot of time or don't have.
I always think there's more.
Rob opened the door and saw an infected leg and walked out. I don't want to deal with this.
If it was not in the next 40 years, I would want to know. If I knew I would live to an old age, I'd be fine with knowing.
But you don't know. That's the whole point.
I know, and that's why I don't want the answer.
Interesting.
But the whole point is, like Rob said, not to wait. You got to treat it like the clock is always expiring.
Right. Which we a lot of us want to do, but I mean, you just get into rhythms and routines, and like not everybody's capable of doing that.
Buddy, we just did 25 minutes talking about the Steelers and Texans.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys did that. What slate is that even going to be on that people want that information?
The people want to know about, MVS.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Dalton Schultz. That's probably the best play in that game. But yeah, this is not about football.
Oh yeah. How about that? Also, have there been other movies about the internet dying? I was thinking about that too when it was going on, of like if the internet went down, like how people would really act.
There has to be some movies,
there's
right?
Greenland too, which is apparently a movie that I didn't even know there was a Greenland one. Those, by the way, my least favorite kind of movie is end of the world movies, like The Day After Tomorrow and 2012, and like anything where the whole world is ending is like the worst shit to me ever.
Don't Look Up, I thought was done in a unique way.
Yeah.
Don't look up. I thought was very interesting, but it also just terrified me because it's exactly how the end of the world is going to be.
Do you rope that into like 28 Days Later and that stuff, Rob?
Well, that's different
because it's set after the world ending.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, like because I like the Mad Max stuff and everything like that. I don't like watching like the downfall of Earth because it's always some dumb shit like that we're watching.
Rob, have you ever thought about getting a team of oil driggers and turning them into astronauts in a week? And then
instead of making astronauts learn how to be oil driggers.
That's the one time it was done right, by the way. The one time in the world
oil drillers.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Incredible movie.
Like, Aerosmith's still collecting royalties.
Isn't there like some kind of thing where they said like the commentary in that movie is supposed to be Ben Affleck and Michael Bay, and like they ask like why they're even doing it, and like what this doesn't make any sense, and then like
it had the very famous director's commentary, or Ben Affleck apparently, I think he was drunk allegedly. I never heard it, but supposedly
there should be more of that. We should have to get an actor that was in a movie, get drunk, and then do like a drunk history like commentary for the movie.
TJ, do you know what movie we're talking about?
TJ knows.
I actually missed that last 15 seconds of conversation. I zoned out because I was looking at next Wednesday, realizing that I'm going to be doing the show from Toronto.
We're talking about Armageddon. You've seen Armageddon, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a fan of Armageddon?
Not in particular.
What was go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't. I don't really remember much about it, if I'm being honest.
You're more of a deep
a while ago.
Day After Tomorrow was probably my favorite apocalypse.
Oh my god!
Dante's Peak.
As a kid, like I remember, I think we watched Day After Tomorrow.
Ooh, Dante's Peak does fuck.
I'm pretty sure we watched it in school.
Oh my god!
And so it was one of those like I like this because I'm not in class.
Not only does that have my least favorite genre, it has my least favorite actor in it.
Who's that?
Dennis Quaid.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
You say that as if like that's a known thing. Like,
he's terrible, dude. Like Dennis Quaid is terrible. Like he's like the worst.
That's not. I figured you'd answer like somebody else. But
what about Children of Men, Rob? Can we get you on Children of Men?
Hell yeah!
I never watched.
That's a great movie.
Wow, Rob, you need to watch it and then pick up smoking after. It feels like after you read a Cormac McCarthy book, like you just hate yourself so much after seeing that movie.
It's a great.
We haven't gotten Dean's thoughts on this movie yet. Still.
Oh yeah, sorry, Dean.
No, it's fine. I agree with basically everything you guys said. I did not think I would like this as much as I did. Like we watched Red One last week, right, or whatever. We talked about Red One.
I guess.
And after, by the way, Rob, not to throw it away, but did you end up watching Red One?
That's this weekend for me. Okay,
you haven't watched it just yet. But the point I'm making is, I watched Red One, and everything I watched, I forgot about it 12 seconds later, and I was happy to forget about all of it because I want that out of my brain.
Yep.
But this movie stays with you. It's just kind of, it's still lingering there, and like you still, it makes you think. And again, I really think it has something to do with how old you are. I think it definitely matters. It probably hits a 20-year-old different than a 40-year-old. And I just I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. I'm surprised I liked it as much as I did. You got to be patient. You got to pay attention. This is not one of those movies you watch while you're like on your laptop or you're doing 3 or 4 different things. Just close the laptop and watch the movie. Mm-hmm. It's an hour and 40 minutes, whatever it is. It's
once it clicks what's going on, man.
Yeah, I wanted more of part 2 as well. I think it was John that said his favorite part was part 2, the part in the middle. Mm-hmm. I wanted more of that. We saw very
more of all 3 of them. Like weirdly enough, like I was really disappointed when the first one ended. Because I was like just thinking like, hey, I was just getting really into that. I don't want to have to restart. It's one of those movies where it's going to be 3 parts, 3 different things. And then after 5 minutes, I was just so invested in the second part as well. And then in the third, I kind of just had more faith. I was like, okay, I really liked the second. I didn't want it to end, but I felt that way about the first. So let's have faith going into the third. And then I liked it too. But each of those parts, I felt like I could have watched the full movie about.
What was the Netflix movie we watched earlier in the year? The Dynamite from Catherine Bigelow that had a similar three-part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible.
We didn't,
well, I didn't know it was gonna be terrible when I picked it. I was gonna watch it anyways.
It wasn't terrible. It's just a little incomplete, I would say.
No dynamite.
The first half hour was incredible. It was an incredible first half hour.
We were promised dynamite. We got no dynamite.
We got no vengeance. We got no vengeance, and we got no dynamite. What the hell?
Movie making 101. If you promise dynamite, you got to pay off for dynamite.
No trolls.
No trolls either.
No trolls either. Oh, by the way, could we just say Morgan Freeman probably long been considered the best voiceover guy. But Nick Offerman is knocking on that door. He's a spectacular voiceover.
He was a great narrator. And I love the use of a narrator in this movie because that's so hit or miss, using a narrator. It was one of my biggest problems with the movie Weapons was just having a narrator for 3 seconds and then just getting rid of it and being gone. The use of Nick Offerman through this movie was awesome.
He's great. Yeah. I mean, is there anybody you'd rather have narrate a movie going forward than Nick Offerman? He's just the all-time narrator for any movie that needs a narrator. Just call Nick Offerman. That's
Nick Offerman, Morgan Freeman, obviously.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman.
Okay. Okay.
You know who I think could do a mean narration?
Who's
John
that?
Hamm.
Okay. I'm not going to be mad at you if you call John Hamm. But nobody else? Is that it? That seems
I don't need a specific type of narration, though. A serious thing with a little whimsy in it. That's what I want John Hamm for. Although that's kind of screams Nick Offerman too. I'm in the middle of watching Parks and Rec right now, and I just love Nick Offerman so much.
Is it a rewatch or you're watching it for the first time?
Oh, 10th, 15th time.
Oh, it's one of your go-tos.
He has separated for me though. I don't think of Parks and Rec anymore. I think of the Emmy-winning episode of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I still
Incredible.
connect the voice to that episode.
Well, that's when he showed us hey, I can act.
Hey, I'm actually an actor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was great, but getting away from the Ron Swanson Pyramid of Greatness is really tough.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think he
also said too that's the easiest role he's ever done because he really felt like he never actually had to give anything. He just had to give nothing because the character of Leslie Knope was always so much that all he had to do was just rein everything back, and it was the easiest thing he ever had to do.
And eat bacon. We want to put a score on this, boys? No. Well, let's go to IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Let's guess what the critics and the audience thought. Let's go to RT first, Rotten Tomatoes.
This is gonna be tough because I actually did watch a couple reviews on this afterwards because I was curious, what people.
Well, didn't TJ say last week it was polarizing?
Yeah, no. Every review that I saw, nobody liked this movie, so it's gonna be weird.
What I saw is that some people felt they were misled based on the marketing, and this did very bad in the theaters, and it was just kind of dumped to streaming. And some people say it's because it's a hard movie to market. To be fair, right? How do you market this? People were kind of expecting something else. Some people were, at least.
Did they market it as a Stephen King?
TJ, you know this? I don't know this.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think they leaned into it by any stretch of the imagination.
Yes, but honestly, probably more Flanagan than Stephen King.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal at TIFF, like TJ said. I saw somebody said it's kind of this is A Wonderful Life, which I don't know. Somebody said this is the best Stephen King adaptation of all time, and Shawshank says hello. I mean, I'm sorry.
Stand By Me.
So I did see something that for a little piece of information in advance that I feel like maybe I should just share with the group so we're all guessing on the same terms. But I saw that this the headline of the article confused me, but I think I saw that it was the #1 Rotten Tomatoes debut for any Stephen King project.
Oh, interesting. Higher than Shawshank is in the high 90s right now. Maybe it's
Rotten Tomatoes didn't exist when Shawshank came out, so I just mean debuting as it a debut weekend kind of thing.
I think people didn't like this because I think it didn't get tropey, right? I think people were expecting it to do certain things, and because it went against their expectations, people didn't like it.
Rob, you're going to set the table for us. Give me both the critics and the audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think this is going to be like a weird one where the Rotten Tomato scores are going to be incredibly higher than the IMDb when you actually have to give it a score. I'm going to go. Goddamn. I'm going to go too high. I'm going to go 92 for critics and 94 for audience.
TJ?
I'm going to say 79 critics, 85 audience.
Daigle?
Gosh, this is hard. 80 audience, 83 critics.
Rich?
I'll say 75 critics, and 80 audience.
You guys both said 80 audience, and it's 80.
Oh, I didn't hear. Did you say 80?
I thought Daigle was going to. Most people say critics first. Daigle said 80 audience.
Yeah.
Oh, you said 80.
Yeah.
81 then.
83.
It's 80 for the critics, 294 critics, 500 plus verified ratings from the audience, 88 from the audience. 88 from the audience, kind of surprising. I didn't think it'd be that high because I thought some people wanted something else. 80 from the critics. IMDb, 1 through 10. What do you got, Rich?
I think like Rob, it's a little lower. I'll say I said 75 for critics. I'll say 7.5.
Daigle?
Also, caveat: this will probably come down over time.
7.1.
TJ?
7.3.
Rob?
7 flat.
Yeah, TJ got it. He middled it. 7.3. He middled the two other scores. 7.3 for The Life of Chuck on IMDb. Now we got to give our own personal.
And so on the polarizing aspect of it, I did look into just like to actually make sure I was saying the right thing after last week. And so this was Variety, which is one of the biggest trades, their worst movie of 2025.
Oh, get the
What?
fuck out of here, Variety.
This
What are
is
you
also
doing?
a publication that made a top 30 movies of 2025, and that list did not have Sinners on it.
Yes, I remember
Did Red 1 come out in 2025?
that.
No, but War of the Worlds did.
Yeah, like it was
That's
nowhere.
good.
Like it literally had to be a thing where the personal person writing it just didn't like it, didn't get it, and then they wanted to do something clickbaity.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Like, even if you don't like this movie, you know it's not the worst. I hate that shit so
We've
much.
seen much worse movies this year.
And I think like there are arguments to be made that Sinners is not the best movie of the year. You know, it won't be for everyone. But to call it not in the top 30 is just you are doing that exclusively to get people to rage bait people.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up the article, and yeah, there's a variety of people gave their bottom 5, right? So this is just Peter DeBrugge, I think the name is. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Peter DeBrugge's 5 worst movies of the year. Life of Chuck 1, 2, The Electric State, which that's justified. He's right there.
Electric State's awful.
War of the Worlds 3. So, okay,
Yeah.
he's on it. The Actor, I don't know what the actor is. I missed that. And 5 was Presence, which I don't know anything about Presence.
Wasn't that
Steven
was it
Soderbergh.
was it universally like that Snow White movie like supposed to be like the worst thing that ever happened this year?
I think it hit some bottom. I've seen some bottom 10.
That
Yeah,
one was got like
My
a
wife
big
said she got like
review
35 minutes into it and she couldn't even watch. She couldn't even finish it.
yeah, that one had
Wow.
like a big review bombing campaign behind it, but yeah, it also just wasn't. I don't feel like Snow White is just like, why is that the one you're picking? This isn't a like that's not a story anybody really cares about.
They also
Dishonorable
try to
mention-
do 2 different things with the movie from everything that I read with that. But if you're being objective, if you don't have War of the Worlds as your worst movie
Never.
of the year,
He had it 3. It's on the podium.
it's dude. If you guys haven't watched it, right? It's
I
like
haven't watched it. I want
No,
to.
dude, it's one of those where people have said it's so like it's so unanimous that this movie's trash that like I figured they can't be like they just can't be wrong. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'll like want to hate watch something and go against the grain, but like this feels just like overwhelming. Like this was just a COVID pile of crap movie.
This is
That's what
why.
it was.
This is why Robin Reeves. I know y'all's opinion, and it's okay to say you don't like one battle after another, but you
I
need to
don't.
at least publicly say you like it, so we get more original movies. Otherwise, we're going to keep on regurgitating the War of the Worlds and we're not going to get unique at any point for the rest of our lives.
Well, PTA's got cachet. He can kind of make what he wants.
That's true too.
After watching this movie, I made a list on Letterboxd of all the movies I could remember, like for all the 2025 releases I remember watching this year, and there was 36. And I am very sad to look back at it and realize that of the 36 movies that I watch, I have Captain America: Brave New World, one of the 2025 Marvel releases, as a bottom 5 movie of the year of the ones I watched.
I'll also never forgive you
time.
for in the thread me telling you about like the reshoots. And you're like, that was debunked, and like that movie's clearly an editing nightmare. Like,
yeah.
Like,
it's just they all like in general, like they all have reshoots. All Marvel movies do, but that movie was just not it.
Yeah, that movie's
there's some
real bad.
bad.
Well,
parts
December
in that
18th,
movie.
TJ, you'll get your chance at vengeance. You can go to the theater all day long for Dune 3 and Doomsday.
Here's my question to you guys. I brought this up on a couple podcasts this week, and if you guys got to go or something, I apologize. But I think I was looking at it. I think 2026, as terrible as the state of the box office has been, because nobody has any money, I really think that 2026 will probably be the best box office year since like 2019 when Endgame came out, Force Awakens came out. Not Force Awakens, another Star Wars movie though. And that might have been Rise of Skywalker. I don't remember. Anyways, over under 5.5 movies that make $1 billion at the box office this year.
Under.
On the surface, I feel like, well, that's an obvious under. Actually, looking at the release slate, I genuinely think it might be over.
Under.
I mean, I don't know I'm not into the weeds as you and like exactly what's coming out.
Me either.
Just also like again, no one goes to theaters. That's
What big is coming out? We know Avengers is coming out.
Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Toy Story 5, a live action Moana.
Why is there another Toy Story?
I don't know. They had an idea and they ran it back.
Yeah,
Oh, that's it. You remember? Do you remember money? Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, Moana's like a lock for it. I think there's a Super Mario Galaxy movie. First Mario.
Oh
movie
yeah,
over
Mario's
$1
gonna make $1 billion.
It's not gonna make $1 billion.
The first Mario sucks too.
Yeah, The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's new movie.
Oh, that's what I want. I'm in on that.
It's just, and there are a bunch more after that. There's a new Shrek movie, a new Minions movie, which the things that are crushing the box office right now.
All the kids
are
stuff.
kids.
just because that means the parents don't have to talk to their kids for 2 hours, which is
Yeah.
a wonderful thing.
You're cheating with the kids stuff.
Yeah.
man.
There's a
Maybe.
new Hunger Games movie. There's a
Kids
new
movies are
Dune.
always gonna do fine. Yeah, just because parents taking their kids
You
out.
made me think of a great story from this year. The movies we maybe it wasn't this year. When did Sonic 3 come out? Was it this year?
Last year, right?
Last year. I think.
Well, my son, who Daigle knows, Parker, who's just like he just lives his own life. He's like baby Stewie,
He's
like
Stewie.
real life human.
He's literally
Real life
Stewie.
He wanted a specific candy that my wife was like, "You ain't getting this, whatever." Dude didn't even watch the movie. The whole movie's running. He just stood in front of my wife and stared at her. Dude committed to it to stare at her for like the whole like. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Rich's littlest one is literally Rich's brain, but turned to switch on evil, and then
I want to get mad at him sometimes. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Fuck man, I appreciate that."
He's
too
literally
much."
Stewie. Yeah.
Like, damn, I appreciate that. I gotta walk away.
By the way, Snow White did get a dishonorable mention in this article, so it was pointed out that was terrible too. I think my worst movie that I've seen, by the way, I have to think about it more. But Death of a Unicorn was terrible. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yet.
No.
I really,
That is
I won't. Go ahead,
my
TJ.
second lowest ranked movie of the year, with the worst one being Ice Road Vengeance.
Get out of here.
Oh,
Hold on.
boo.
Ice Road
It is
Vengeance
the
was
worst
better than
movie I have seen that came out in 2025.
That was better than Captain America.
Not even close. Captain America sucked, and it was $1 billion times better
God, dude.
than Ice Road Vengeance.
Do you remember when they flipped that bus back over with the 4 of them? Like,
Yeah, Captain America had a Hulk. At least the Hulk was cool.
I really wanted to like Death of a Unicorn, like Paul Rudd, like Jennifer Ortega, but I cannot recommend that movie. Did not work for me at all. It sounds like it did not work for TJ either.
This is why I support the double feature, like big deals, because that's how you drag adults to theaters. Like, make it a spectacle that they have to come to theaters for. Like Barbenheimer.
Troll 2.
Yeah, like Troll 2 and 3. No trolls.
Let's put a score on this movie, boys. Rob, 1 through 5. What do we have? 1 through 5 as far as
I'm gonna give it 3.8.
3.8. Life of Chuck. TJ, you have a comic book character?
I would say this is a somewhere between an 8.5 and 9 out of 10 for me. On the 10 scale, I would put it at a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. I do think it's in my top 5 movies of the year of 2025 for me. It does feel like it kind of feels like a cop out using this as my Marvel character for it, but it was so fitting that I couldn't get out of it. That this is Tom Hiddleston's first project that he did after Loki season 2, and Loki season 2 was very much the conclusion to his. Now he's going to be in this next movie, but in a totally new role, and this was going to be like, it was sort of the conclusion of a certain version of his story, and he finished it as, instead of just, the trickster god, Loki the trickster god, he was Loki the god of time and stories. And so I think with that being the case, it fits pretty perfectly for Loki to be the choice for the Life of Chuck.
Now, is that Iceman level?
I don't know if anyone's Iceman level.
Is he Omega? Is he Omega?
He's not a mutant. He's not a mutant, so he's not on the list.
Daigle, what wrestler is this?
It's a great question.
It is a great question.
Actually, I'm probably not doing the wrestler justice when I mention this. She's probably worth more than Life of Chuck, but this movie is about living life to its fullest. And so I start thinking about which wrestler, when they had the opportunity, actually took care of that moment. And the 3 that come to mind that had the moment, and because of what they experienced in life prior to that, just absolutely crushed it, are the CM Punk pipe bomb. I don't want to name this movie CM Punk though. The Stone Cold King of the Ring Austin 3:16 moment. I haven't ever given out Stone Cold as a grade because it has to be a movie worthy of it. Unless we're reviewing Pulp Fiction anytime soon, I'm never giving out Stone Cold as a grade. And then I think this movie is going to be Becky Lynch, because Dean, I don't know if you know this, but Becky Lynch was a wrestler who forever wanted to be a wrestler, wrestled across Ireland, and eventually just never made it though, even showing up to NXT, getting signed, obviously the minor leagues for WWE. And then just that gimmick as a happy Irish woman, just failing to the point to where she was so let down in herself and not being able to wrestle successfully that she nearly killed herself. She had suicidal thoughts, stepped away for a while too. But then she came back and kind of reworked the character, and to the point where, a lot of wrestlers, like Stone Cold, for example, who was stunning Steve with long hair at one point, blonde hair, he had to just turn himself, crank his personality up to 11, and become a badass redneck, because that's exactly what he's in real life. Becky Lynch was just kind of someone who defied odds and was naturally just a badass herself. And so she eventually took on the moniker of The Man, which was basically woman Stone Cold. But The Man, at one point, before Survivor Series, SmackDown was going to fight Raw. SmackDown then invaded Raw. Becky Lynch was in the blue shirt, and she actually got her nose broken, live, whenever they are, doing the coerced attack. But because of this, because she took care of the moment, it's the image is actually, you can find it on Google. It's probably the top search you get. But she stands on top of the stairs in the crowd with her nose broken, and she just flexes her arms out, and her blood is her nose is crooked, blood is leaking down her face, but she's sitting there smiling, telling the rest of the wrestlers to bring it on. And that was truly an iconic moment of her career, because she fought through everything and still looked incredible doing so. So I think this movie is Becky Lynch.
I just gave it a Google. She looks like a badass for sure.
It's a badass moment.
Yeah, and it wasn't planned either, which also makes it better, right? So it's just
that launched the main event of Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair, which was the match not done well, but the lead up to the match was some of the best story building you're ever going to see, because Ronda Rousey knew her role and didn't go beyond just trying to kick everyone's ass. They all 3 got arrested on the take home Raw from the go home show from WrestleMania, and they kicked out the police car windows and continued fighting outside. It was amazing.
Do we approve, Rob, of Becky Lynch?
Yeah, the man comes around.
Like I said, she probably deserves a better movie, but I think it makes sense to take advantage of life.
Rich, we got a football player? Tight end?
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of, seeing your.
It could be a quarterback too, by the way.
Not yet.
One chance.
That might be a 2026 moving forward bit,
right.
but I had to use Philip Rivers the last time. It was just fitting. It was set up. It was timely. It was topical. This one also is topical. It's about kind of seeing your mortality and then realizing it's time to start, having fun with the next phase of your life. I think this is, I would say, separate this not for the full career, but 24, 2025 Travis Kelce. I think it fits this build pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Got Taylor Swift to write a song about his penis. That happened. Like that'll always live and forever, even when this marriage eventually falls apart. But maybe it won't. But yeah, I think that a guy,
his penis will definitely not live forever. I can promise you that.
That's true. Hey, listen, Pornhub went down.
David, I always forget his last name, Dal Chmalchin or something like that. He was awesome in that scene.
That's who I was trying to think of. Like, he was great. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what it is. Kind of Travis Kelce and both, I say Jason, people get annoyed by it, but like he just realized hey man, this is coming to an end. I've got to start doing other things. I'm in Serial, doing podcasts, trying to
Serial.
Yeah. You ever see the Kelce's have a cereal? Like it's there's all kinds of shit going. They're everywhere. You can't stop them.
Only in the Midwest though, right? People in California aren't buying the Kelce cereal, are they?
You in American Horror Story? He's doing a bunch of shit.
All right, maybe yeah.
Dude, the Kelce's are massive. Well, Taylor Swift helps out Travis, obviously, but dude, the Kelce's are massive.
Yeah.
Is their podcast still like lit and everybody's listening to it and like one of the top?
I don't know.
I love how that's how you describe popular. Like, is it still lit?
I don't know. What the kids are saying.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I believe it still crushes. And on the latest one, Kelce said that he's still unsure about next season because he just isn't sure if his body can hold up for 21 weeks again.
Yeah. You think that's tied it all to Mahomes or just kind of what they do in the offseason or it's just
well, I mean, Mahomes is playing another decade, so.
Well, assuming he's fully recovered. I guess we're assuming he's going to be fully recovered by the time next season comes around.
I mean, they might try to coax him back after this latest Rashee Rice news. Yeah. They might need another receiver.
Like, I put up for it. Probably why I put up with it, man. Yeah. He can just go do whatever. He's going to be so just rich the rest of his life.
I'm going to give it a score out of 1 out of 100. I will give it I'll give it a 76. I thought this was really strong. 76 out of 100 is my score. All right. I have to assign a movie for next week, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so bitter about it.
It was really close, right?
Well, I'm bitter because it was also my chance to tie you for the season lead, and now I can't. Like, it's impossible for you to not be dethroned as the champion of this podcast.
What is the lead? Like, what is Dean at?
7.
I'm at 2. I nearly had a 3rd this past week because everyone left Monroe on the table at 12%.
Jay's at 3 and Rob's at 1.
Yeah, bad year for me. Bad year for me.
But Rob had the most.
But Rob has the most. I don't even think I want Rob to win again because his 1 was the standout of the season. He had 1 bullet, and God, did he fucking hit his mark, man. God, he knew the assignment.
He understood
the assignment.
I knew what I had to do. I knew where we were.
Did that also break up the Liam Neeson streak, or did Rich? Did your
no? I think I did earlier in the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Rob broke up the movies that we were wanting to watch. He broke up the list of good movies.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a movie for you.
Yeah, we had to break up the good stuff that was coming out.
That Troll 2 wins Tiptoes Award of 2025.
Oh, this. I will never Troll. That movie will live with me forever.
Yeah, I mean,
it's literally in my house now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got to go see it in the theater, somehow at like a midnight screening somewhere.
Well, I mean, Rob, if you ever come visit us, if you come in August, we'll watch it a night where we invite.
Well, I think I'm coming in May. I think that's what we've established, but we'll figure that out for sure.
Party at Rich's, fire up the Troll 2.
There's nothing like that, huh?
I was considering let's just watch Troll 2 again, but no. And I was almost pivoting there on the fly. If Rob's never seen Children of Men, but you should see Children of Men on your own, Rob. Spectacular movie, even though it's a post-apocalyptic. You might not like that, but there's a couple scenes they're like 4 minutes long, 3 minutes long. They're just incredible. I don't want to ruin anything for you, but definitely worth checking out. I'm gonna be a little selfish. I know you guys want Liam Neeson. I'm not bringing back Liam Neeson.
Wow.
My apologies. I've been threatening this movie the entire year. I've been threatening I mean, teasing it out there. Last year, I watched this movie last year. It just came out. I watched it last year, and you guys know last year wasn't great for me. I talked about it. I lost my mom. I lost my sister. She had cancer, and it was a terrible year. Very little joy last year. But I had like 100 minutes of joy watching the Ballad of Wallace Island. And I've been threatening this one. I saw it pop up, scanning through Amazon. It's like, oh, this is on Amazon now. And I know I mentioned it a couple times, and I want to watch it again. And I want to enjoy this movie one more time. And I think it's a movie everybody should see. And it is. Actually, I don't want to. I was going to say it's popped up on some critics have also liked it. Just not enough people have seen it. I think the people should see the battle. No, that's a different movie. The Ballad of Wallace Island. That is on Amazon. And I've been threatening it all season long. I've danced around it. And that's what we're watching, boys. I'm sorry for not being a democracy, but I wanted to see it again, and I'm being selfish. I want to watch Ballad of Wallace Island, and I think you guys will like it too. I hope you guys will like it. But
one battle of Wallace Island after another.
Well, yes.
Now my question is, are we still doing the contest this week so that whoever wins can pick the movie week 1 next year?
Oh,
we did talk about that, but
I'd say we still do the contest for the off chance we do a conference final show.
But I say the listeners should get in the chat and annoy the hell out of Andy and Dan, who are in charge of the RotoGrinders schedule, and tell them to bring us back for conference finals. That way we can review a movie. I say do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
The other thing I was going to say is that maybe we can watch it before, we assign the movie immediately and then watch it in the 2 days leading up to Wednesday. Maybe that's too much because you guys are knocking out content.
I'd be good at that.
Maybe that's something we can do. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, conference finals, Reebs, you only got 2 games to write about.
We'll figure it out.
He doesn't have any energy left.
Right.
He's running on fumes here in February or January.
Well, here's the thing: is you guys know, like I'm very like regimented in like my schedule, like blocking time. You guys are trying to throw something like when I have like clear a lot of time. Like I don't like that.
When you can be playing Hades too.
I don't like that.
I don't like that.
Understood. All right.
I support your boundaries.
We spent a lot of time on movies. Hopefully some of y'all stuck with us. Appreciate that. TJ, let the people know where they can find you. They're still around. Where can they find TJ's work?
Agentsoffandom.com, on wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube, on socials. We just had some really great episodes recently covering the Stranger Things finale, talking Percy Jackson every week. I will be going to Toronto next week for some Percy Jackson related interviews. I have some Wonder Man, the new Marvel show interviews coming up, and lots of really, really great television over the next month. Shrinking is going to be dropping in at the end of January. So lots of really great stuff.
Rob?
Hometown Ghost Stories, Spike Week, your playoff best ball pods, perhaps the next 2 days. Fun year playoff best ball, by the way, because
wide open
feels a little more wide open than normal, so you can build some fun teams if you're looking to play playoff best ball,
especially if you play on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Why do you say that, Rich? I haven't played. I don't know
because they banned all those people for the collusion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, they've had a lot of collusion problems recently.
Boy, that collusion was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in fairness to DraftKings, like, they have collusion practices in place. Not that I'm part of big DraftKings or anything.
It sounds like you are.
People like jump because it's a whole thing. People are like such underdog fart sniffers that, like, as soon as something happens on DraftKings, they try to attack, and it's like it happens on both sites, guys. You gotta let the process play out a little bit, and both sites will ban people.
You want to know why the rate keeps going up on DraftKings? People like Rob.
And when it's discovered on Underdog, we'll report them to the police too.
Yeah,
we'll
and then they won't do anything. They'll just leave Gilbert Arenas' teams as live.
Probably, but we'll try.
Does he have a rigged team? I haven't seen.
Oh, you didn't see the whole Gilbert Arenas controversy over there?
I don't know anything about it. I'll have to look into it.
He auto drafted 150 teams straight, drafted 4 quarterbacks, 4 tight ends, and just like he sorted by by projected points essentially. And None of his teams got canceled, which is fine. I don't think they should have got canceled anyways. But
if you're gonna do it, do it. If not, don't do it. Like I assume he was paid or something to. But that's
he was clearly site credits for him.
I got a pair of game worn Gilbert Arenas shoes in my house.
There you go.
I'm sorry that you have that.
I've only been in the drafter street. I've only been on drafters so far, and I don't know. I have a mixed results, but we'll see. It does look like a lot of. I do love the playoff format.
I like the FFPC the best of the playoff formats.
I'm not aware of their format, but I'll have to check it out. Drafters.
That's the one where you have to pick a player from every team.
Oh, that's different. I wasn't
aware.
You
get one. You get 12. It's 12 slots. You have to pick one for each team.
It's usually how season-long playoffs works. Yeah,
that's tough. That's very tough. A lot of strategy though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last year we had a team finish really high. We faded Saquon, who was the chalk like Eagle, for Jalen Hurts, and we faded Kelsey, who was the chalk Chief for Worthy. And obviously, they went nuts in the Super Bowl. And, helped us win a lot of free stuff this year.
What's the buy-in on that?
200.
Yeah, we should do one together, all of us.
We could do it on a show. You want to do it on a show?
Let's definitely do that.
Rich, you'll make time for that.
I also jumped in.
Well, the gambling theme.
Yeah.
You gotta watch movies or gamble.
The work doubles itself up there.
Why do you think anyone's here, Dean? Why do you think they're watching us?
I also did
review the second movie when we do that show.
Conference Finals, also an FFPC show. Yeah, we got all the time.
Oh, we would have to do it like in the back channels.
That's true.
It does start this weekend, so we would have to.
We can still do that. We'll still do it through our chat.
We could do one through us.
We're still recording a show.
No, we can do it through the thread.
Just do it now.
Goodbye. We're still.
Yeah, let's
go. Gonna build that roster. We could do a show one though. I would be down with that. A little pick six team.
Rich, did we ever find out? Did you ever find out? I guess you know now. How did your best ball season go, or is it worth asking?
No dollars. Were won main dollars.
Sorry to hear that.
I had an awesome DraftKings team that just got podlucked out that I thought maybe when I checked was going to be good.
Yeah.
And it got podlucked.
Where Sam for winning the underdog tournament though.
It was a Puka team. Yeah, it was awesome.
Where can the people find you?
The sweat was fun too. Really cool.
Daigle, tell the people where they can find you.
EstablishTheRun.com, where I had to write up the Steelers and Texans. So if you're playing Showdown, you can go read that because every player was talked about.
I'm going
to give to read the amount of impressions per game that gets read.
What do you mean?
So like you write up every single game, right? Like for the playoff weekend. Like, can you see how many people click on each game?
Yes, I don't go on the back end and do it, but I could if I cared, if I wanted to. I've never been like read or listens guy. I think it affects the way you work. So I try not to pay
that one in particular for being a Monday night game and especially being the Steelers.
The Showdown content does amazing. Like Showdown matchups, they do great. In some cases, they may be read more than the full column just because like it's a standalone game and people have a whole like 24 hours to reset before they try to win or lose more money. So
that's fair.
The Showdown stuff does really well. That's why I take it so seriously. Even when it's about Aaron Rodgers and Adam Thielen.
I mean, listen, do you know how I like to chase my gambling? With more gambling.
Yes. That Ramsey guy, he's on to something, right?
2026 tax laws be damned.
Portals to hell, was that the quote? Portals to hell? Yeah. I did see that tweet, or I guess it was, that was pretty popular. Dave Ramsey, right? That's the guy's name?
Yeah.
Okay. Rich, the people know, they know, but just in case, where can they find your fabulous work? Where can they find you writing up Houston and Pittsburgh amongst all the other games?
Yeah, Shop Football Analysis. I've written up all the worksheet games for this week. You can check them out in detail. I'll update them as far as we get these injury news throughout the rest of the week. You can check all of them out. Then you can still find me for one more week with my boys in the Pick Six Show next Wednesday.
Maybe 2 more weeks.
Fingers. We shall see. That was Rich. That was Daigle. That was Rob. That was TJ. Do appreciate y'all listening. Go win something. We're out of here.